dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, well, I tune into my TV show. A better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Very good morning. Welcome to it. I can't tell you how good I feel. Just in that moment when we go live.
Yes.
I light up. My eyes light up. I feel it because I know that you are waking up with us, and I'm so happy to have you for 3 hours. We have them in our clutches. A very good morning. My name is Graham Richards.
My name is Carl Wasty. It's so good to actually chat to you today. And as you can see, Graham's got this floral thing going on. There's an energy to him today. I don't know. There's
I've got
a thing.
I didn't vibe. I actually went and bought myself a whole lot of these kinds of things just to.
It's looking good.
Just to.
You know, I can almost smell the flowers on his golf shirt. It's actually wonderful.
You've got like a Don Johnson vibe going this morning, you know?
Miami Vicey type of thing. It's like that though. But today it is going to be one of those incredible shows where you got the recipes that you need. I know there's a tandoori recipe that I'm excited about, and there's a chickpea curry recipe. So those things, I can't wait to get into the kitchen because you know the entire studio fills up with a smell. I know you can't smell it now, but we'll describe it.
We will describe it.
Yeah.
We really will. And it's going to be a youthful show. There's going to be a lot going on. It's
Indeed.
Going to be great.
And music, which is so important too. And a little story which is wonderful. It actually went viral on social media, and it's related to an individual who taught his domestic worker how to drive. And I think that's beautiful. And I'm thinking about reminiscing for a bit, you know, kind of like a throwback Thursday type of thing. Do you remember back in the day when you were starting to kind of get your license?
Yeah.
That process. Do you remember how it was to try and, you know, just pine to get your license in the process?
It was tough, and my poor mother, I don't think she was the most patient person having to teach me. And it was Mazda 323, that was the car. That was the car, very mustard yellow. But I remember how that feeling of absolute elation when I finally got that license. Do you remember when you got yours?
Absolutely, I remember. Well, number one, I had to sit in the pillow to actually reach the pedals. But that was fun.
Do you still do that?
Yes, I do, but no one has to know. Okay, now everybody does, but it doesn't matter. But I got it eventually. I remember I actually passed out my driver's license on the 31st of December, and the assessor still told me, you are now the designated driver. It's like an omen for me to pass my license on New Year's Eve. So
and
it was wonderful.
Were you the designated driver?
I was indeed. That's it. I do remember that. But it's going to be one of those amazing shows, as you know. And when it comes to driving forces, there are people like that in your community. And that's why on social media, we've got a very important question for you. So please use the hashtag Expresso Show as we get into that right now.
And then, of course, Joshua Rubin is going to be reconnecting with us. He taught Caroline and Glorville, his domestic worker, how to drive some years ago. That special story has evolved over this last year, so we're going to bring them back in to connect and see how they are doing. But let's connect with you guys right now on social media and connect with these beautiful people. Morning, gang.
Hey.
Good morning,
G.
Lads looking like they rolled out of Miami Vice's set. I'm loving the vibes, of course. How are you guys doing this morning? Beautiful souls. Jamie, how's your morning going?
Very good. You know what? I told Carl this morning. He's like a genie. Whenever I say his name 3 times, he just appears. Because yesterday I was speaking about him. And then boom, I'm like, good morning, Carl. How are you doing? Just a fresh energy. You look like someone that's just stepped out of a trance party. Like you just need an 80s glasses and you're going to be like, oh yeah,
Peace, love, and happiness.
But listen, we are connecting with you on our social media this morning. And we want to find out if there's any heroes or heroines in your life that you'd like to take a moment to just appreciate and highlight. Please let us know on our social media Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. Who do you want to acknowledge and also why you'd like to acknowledge them this morning?
Yeah, definitely. I think I can't even draw a list when it comes to trying to think of everybody that deserves the attention that they really do over this coming period, especially, obviously, after everything that we really are going through. But we'll hear more about that and we'll chat to you, Mzansi, of course. So let us know on our social media channels while we kick off the rest of the show and start off with the news.
Thanks, gang. Let's kick it off here in South Africa with our national news. Police Minister Chickpea has asked South Africans to do the right thing and spare themselves a criminal record. He reiterated that since level 3, a mask has become mandatory and that it's a criminal offence not to wear one. He said he hopes the arrests will stop citizens from breaking the law. Meanwhile, the Department of Health has confirmed 18,555 new COVID-19 cases in the country and 806 more deaths in the past reporting period. Now, despite strict directives from the Independent Schools Association of Southern Africa for private schools to postpone their reopening until next week, some learners returned to the classroom yesterday. Independent schools, which were scheduled to reopen from yesterday, have pushed this back to the 18th of January. ISASA said private schools would be offering a hybrid educating model, including online and on-campus learning to safeguard learners and teachers as well. Meanwhile, public schools are due to reopen for the new academic year on the 27th of January amid the second wave of the pandemic. On the international front, Mozambique and Tanzania are strengthening relations to combat cross-border terrorism. This ahead of a regional summit on a rebellion that threatens nearly $60 billion in natural gas projects. President Felipe Nyusi of Mozambique has visited Tanzania to meet with his counterpart, John Magufuli, prior to next week's Southern African Development Community Conference. And it's reported that the two leaders have agreed to reopen a joint committee on defense and security. Now, since 2017, insurgents working with the Islamic State have killed some 2,500 people in the region. Then, a little further afield, hundreds of alleged members of Italy's most powerful mafia group are set to face justice in the country's biggest organised crime trial in decades. The 355 suspected mobsters and corrupt officials were charged following a long inquiry. More than 900 witnesses are expected to give evidence, and the charge sheet includes murder, drug trafficking, extortion and money laundering. The trial started yesterday and is expected to last more than 2 years at least. No mafia trial has been held in Italy on such a scale since the 1980s. Now, finally, onto news of a jogger leaping into a frozen lake to rescue a dog. Some folks are loud after committing a heroic deed. Others, like Darcy Pell from Yorkshire in the UK, just go about the deed quietly and then move on. Literally, jog on. Darcy was jogging with a friend in bitter cold weather a few days ago when he noticed a dog battling to get out of a frozen lake. He unhesitatingly plunged into the frozen lake, smashed through the ice and rescued the stricken animal before jogging on. Now, Darcy, 31 years old, said he was not a hero but just saw a dog in need. Video footage shows his heroic act in full detail. Passerby Paula Town posted online post saying what a hero this complete stranger was, and she said the dog was trying to get onto the ice but kept slipping back into the sub-zero temperature water. Paula added, luckily this brave guy came along, he plunged into the water, and the rest is on my video. Then his friend gave him his jacket and they calmly continued their jog. Well done, Darcy. That's where we leave our news for now. Let's get into our sporting headlines. Plenty of midweek footballing action to catch up on. Sticking here at home, Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates both returned to winning ways in the Premier Soccer League last night. Amakosi beating Amazulu FC 1-0 in Durban, and the Buccaneers recording a 3-0 victory over Chakuma Cha Mazivandilala at the Toyondu Stadium. Now, other results, SuperSport United beat Bloemfontein Celtic 2-1 to continue their impressive form in the PSL this season. And in the English Premier League action last night, Manchester City, they extended their unbeaten run to 14 matches in all competitions with a hard-fought 1-0 win over Brighton. South African footballing star and Brighton attacker Percy Tau impressed during his first appearance in the Premier League, giving Man City defender Alexander Zinchenko a pretty hard time. In other results from last night, Fulham came from behind to draw 1-1 against Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And then on to golf. The Sunshine Tour yesterday announced that they will be postponing their 2021 schedule by 1 month due to the increase in COVID-19 cases here in South Africa. Organisers made the decision in support of President Cyril Ramaphosa's call for everyone to work together to curb the spread of the coronavirus. And the planned February start for the Sunshine Tour has now been moved to March this year. That's where we leave our sport for now. Let's take a look at some of the beautiful sunrise pictures that you guys have been sending in.
We love these. We love seeing what your part of the country looks like, so please send it our way. And thank you to our regular contributor, Nick Lombard, who got creative and sent us this burnt red skyline reflected in a water reservoir. Very creative. In Ludwigsfontein, you can expect a 50% chance of thunder showers today with a maximum of 36 degrees, believe it or not. And thank you to Wilma Liederman, who sent us this lovely view of the seaside town, Eiserfontein. I love that place, showing the sun rising in the distance. The temperatures will peak at a warm maximum of 32 degrees today, today ahead of some cooler weather heading your way tomorrow. And if you would like to be featured during one of our weather reports, head on over to our Facebook page to post your sunrise pictures. We love seeing that. The Nelson Mandela Bay Metro yesterday urged residents to use water sparingly as dam levels in the metro continue to dip. The metro and surrounding areas are currently experiencing a devastating drought. In September 2020, the municipality reported that it had experienced a day zero when taps were running dry and dam levels dipped below 19%. At present, the levels are at an average of 25.5%. Water is being drawn from the Garib Dam and fed into the metro. At the moment, residents have been urged to limit their water usage to 50 litres per person per day where possible. So over to some of the temperatures in your area. Let's start with you, Polokwane. Good morning to you. 18, your low to a high of 27. You've got Bombela, your low of 19 to a high of 30. You do have a 56% chance of rain in your area. Pretoria, 44% chance of thunder showers. Yes, I'm very specific with my percentages. 25 your high in your area. Johannesburg, 24 the high from a low of 16 this morning. Mahikeng, 19 to 28 for you today. Klerksdorp, Goeiemorgen, 20 your low to a high of 28. Kimberley, a high of 29 from a low of 20 this morning. Bloem, you are 17 to a high of 28 this afternoon. Richards Bay, 23 to 32. Pietermaritzburg, a high of 29 today from a low of 20. You have a Durban, a beautiful town, 24 to 30 for you, 25% chance of rain in your area. Mthatha, you are 29 today with 43% chance of thunder showers in your area from a low of 20 this morning. East London, good morning to you, 23 your low to a high of 26. Cradock, 20 to 34 today. Port Elizabeth, you are a high of 26 from a low of 22. George, 21 to 27. The Mother City, 17 the low to a high of 29. Worcester, 16 to hear this, 39 degrees. Stay hydrated today, please. And remember the sunscreen. Sutherland, 14 to 31. Uppington, you are 33 as a high today with a low of 22 this morning and a 51% chance of thunder showers. Do remember to add those sunrise pictures to our Facebook page and don't forget that hashtag Expresso Show. Keep it coming.
So wherever you find yourself on this part of the country or whichever part of the country, have yourself a feel-good kind of day. We're going to bring all the feel-goodness today, indeed.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, Jamie,
yes?
question, and I think it relates to the show. How have you been dealing with just like Luca and this crazy chaos that we're living in right now and being a parent?
Creating a platform and just getting a support group. Okay. Just being, with around mothers, speaking openly about this, having just a sisterhood of some sort. And speaking about that, we actually have a founder and owner of Dope Black Dads Community, Marvin Harrison, who's going to be speaking more about how he navigated his way through parenthood in a black community and how he's using his podcast to connect with other dads around the world. So stick around for that. Don't go anywhere. You maybe want to grab yourself a coffee, maybe even some custard like Raul in the morning, and we'll see you in a short moment.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso in SABC3, and this really got me excited. It is something very exciting coming up with Dope Black Dads. We're looking forward to chatting to Marvin, who has created this community of support and tolerance, and more importantly, something very special. So that's coming up.
A really cool podcast to boot.
Yes. So, but before we get there, I just wanted to tantalize the taste buds. We do have a very good celebrity holiday catch-up with Sam Glover. Take a look.
You are still keeping it locked right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and you are in for a treat.
Wow.
Now, from gracing our screens as an actress in our local soapies to now venturing into the music industry, we have a quick catch-up with multi-talented Sam Kel and Ndlovu. Good morning, Mama. How are you?
Morning. I'm great. How are you?
So good. Even better now seeing you, because, you know, the thing is, Sam Kel, the holidays are behind us now, but just seeing your face, you literally look like if a holiday had a face, you would be the holiday face.
I mean, so.
Radiant.
Oh my goodness. Flattered.
So how did you spend your holidays?
So I have a daughter at home. I have she's turning 3 next month. So I've been super paranoid. So I put myself in level 5. And so we've basically just been at home doing some home activities, swimming. I bought her a bicycle, a little bicycle with training wheels as well for Christmas. So we've also been doing that. And my birthday was also on the 31st. So I also spent that at home. I spent my holidays at home, binge watching series with my family, with my loved ones, really just trying to not be out there.
That's the beauty of it. I think that there is a new, I suppose, way of holidaying that we've seen in 2020. It was so much about detaching ourselves from what we have come to know over the years and doing some really interesting things in new ways. But we saw that you were also spoiled in terms of the company that you had. You spent so much time with your daughter. We saw this. We were spoiled with that on
Absolutely.
our Instagram pages, on our timelines. How is your baby girl doing?
She's good. The whole isolation thing, the whole quarantine thing has obviously definitely haven't had an effect on her, you know, because one moment we're out and about, we're going to school every day, and then the next moment it's no more school, and then the next moment it's back to school. So now she's used to kind of seeing me every day for the whole day. So our relationship dynamic has kind of changed. It's kind of tipped over onto the other side, and I kind of have to actively, like, almost wean myself off of her or wean her off me, because, like, right now she's in the lounge watching TV, but I suspect in about the next 2 to 4 minutes she's gonna come into my room and come tell me that Peppa Pig is her friend.
Peppa Pig is her friend, Mommy. You need to understand that. Well, I'll take a bit away from mom life for a moment. In terms of you in the acting and the creating space, and also just musically, what can we expect from you from this year?
I won't say I'm no longer an actress. I will say that I'm taking an active break from acting. I know a few viewers are kind of sad to hear that, but it doesn't come in vain. I am pursuing my music career right now, and it's an entire change. It's an entire separation from who you've come to know for the past 13 years on screen to Samu. So now I just go as Samu. No longer Sam Kel Ndlovu. So Sam Kel Ndlovu will remain my acting stage name, and Samu will be my music stage name. My first single is out as Samu. It's called Intoyami. It's from my upcoming experimental EP, which is quite exciting. And the reason why we call it an experimental EP is because we're doing 6 genres, which has never been done before. So we're doing everything from amapiano, Afrofusion, Afrobeat, R&B ballad, trap soul. We're also doing some hip-hop. So we've got some dope features. We've got Langa Mavuso, we've got Moonchild Saneli, we've got Thandiso Mazwai. We're really, really excited about getting this project out, and I think you'll enjoy it if you enjoy amapiano and that sort of tempo of music.
You are a true artist through and through. And honestly, we wish you all of the best. We wish you all of the best. I know that you're going to enjoy this journey and you're going to do so well.
Thank you. Thank you. That means so much to me, that receiving the same kind of love from my family at Expresso.
Ooh. Let's just say hi quickly to that little one over there.
Oh my God. I
Look
just did her
at
hair this
you.
morning. It's a hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi, my baby.
Ah.
She's acting all shy. I don't know what that's about, because she's definitely not shy.
Say I love Expresso. Ask her to get her to say I love Expresso.
I love espresso. I love it.
We'll take that. I love that. Keep reinventing yourself. Just go out there, give 2021 everything you have, and we are here for it. Have a blessed day further, ma'am.
You guys have always been there, so I really, really do appreciate you guys. And I can't wait for this thing to be over so that I can come there and really sing for you guys.
Yes, please. We've got a stage or a whole performance section over there waiting
Yeah,
for you
I
to
know.
assume it.
I know. That's why I'll be like, this thing needs to be over, you know?
We'll see you soon. Take care, Sam Kel.
Thank you.
All of the love, hey? All of the
Love.
Thank you so much, guys. Wishing Samu, as she is now known, or will be known on stages across the land, all the best. I know she is going to kill it. She's done so well as an actress. She is going to dominate on stage as well. Now, let's get inspired this morning. We have been both so excited to get into this next discussion. A movement to inspire, to educate, to heal, and celebrate Black fathers is what you could say our next segment is all about. A group of Black dads based in London, New York, and here in South Africa have come together to create a platform, a digital safe space, if you will, known as Dope Black Dads, where fathers come together to discuss their experiences of being Black, being a parent, masculinity in this modern world. And the movement is led by none other than Marvin Harrison, who hosts a range of guests from all over the globe, including South Africa. And they've also got a podcast that is doing very well. Marvin now joins us this morning to tell us all about his widening global community. Marvin, a very good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. How are you guys?
So good. Thank you so much, Marvin. I was very excited, and Graham was too, with regard to this, because I think it's so important for us to get together, especially when it comes to our collective experience and sharing and saying that, you know, when you don't do something right, we can learn. When we do something right, we can share. And I think this is what the great thing about this podcast is. But just to start things off, what has your Black male parenting experience been like? And how did this experience lead to you creating a podcast and this network?
Yeah, for me, it's been really interesting because I found it really challenging being a father. And so I had my second child and I really was aware that I didn't feel like a great father. So I wanted to find other fathers just to ask them what their experience was and how they felt about it. It was a balance between trying to be a highly functioning father as well as a great husband and as well as a great father. And what became really apparent is so many people really struggled with this. So many people had never really been celebrated for being a father specifically. And so by having a group of us all in together doing, trying to do great work, it really allowed us to have a bit of a mirror for each other. And it really helped us to come up with better ways to look at our masculinity, our parenting, how we were partnering, and find new, healthier attitudes. So it's been an absolute phenomenon to have that group of men, because it just doesn't really exist anywhere else. And it's not something that men speak of primarily when we are together.
I mean, there are layers to this, especially if you consider what's gone on in the world, in the UK, in the US, even here in South Africa over the last year. I've got to ask, though, do you feel like a better dad now? Are you, when you say that, it almost breaks my heart to think that you're not feeling like a great dad. Do you feel like a better father as a result of what you've been able to do?
Yes, it actually works. It's one of those things where by building a community, you start to feel that understanding of that, where your challenges are shared amongst multiple people at the same time. And that shared feeling actually does help you realize that, these are the areas that we all collectively need to be better at. These are things that I'm not particularly good at. But the main thing is that I'm not alone. And, we now have over 2,000 dads around the world across US, UK and South Africa. And we've been able to really, really support each other in every aspect of our lives. And what we realized is that by redefining masculinity, we then change the way we parent. It's not necessarily just how you parent, it's how you see yourself as a man and as a dad and as a male parent.
That is very special, because I think about the way we conduct ourselves as men sometimes, and we don't like asking for help. It's kind of like a trend in our species, so to speak, where we don't want to say, I'm struggling. We don't want to say, I don't know what to do here, because, as a man, traditionally, you want to make things happen and know that you got things locked down and all sorted out. But this is why that addressing of the masculinity is so important. Yeah. And I know that there are many contributors from New York. There are contributors from London as well, and South Africa. But in your dealings with this podcast and this network and people coming forward and sharing their stories, how much commonality has there been between you and, let's just say, a dad from South Africa or a dad from New York?
What's really interesting is I think in terms of the cultural differences, so I've done a lot of listening here since I arrived, and I've realized that, there's a very specific challenge that is applicable to South Africa. But where we have all kind of signed up to the incorrect ideas about how a man must be, I think that's where we've universally accepted that we have a lot more in common than not. And I think there is also a general Black experience, no matter where you are in a continent, where things are seen of you, which need to be redesigned. And so when we first launched, it was very much about changing the narrative of Black male fathers, Black men. And then we realized that actually it's about how we feel about ourselves. And when we own how we feel about ourselves, we can make really powerful changes forward. And so we try to make sure that, things around like mental health, things around physical health, how we interact with our partners, how we interact with our children, what does parenting actually mean? I think that's a massive, massive thing that we've become aware of, because I think too often, parents feel like they must be the sort of micromanagers of a young human being, whereas actually it's about how you guide them through their decision-making process, and you feed them in the early years with just really good values and clear ideas. And then afterwards, it's about guiding them as they figure it out for themselves. And that balance means that you raise much healthier children. And so we're able to collectivize all of our experiences and get the best out of all of us as well as our families.
Then you take that a step further. It's not just dope Black dads that are connecting and being able to live and learn through this process. You've created dope Black moms, dope Black queers. Why was it so important for you to kind of expand that sphere and start to include more focus groups in this kind of charge to get people to form a community?
It's really interesting because one of the things we identified is the place of men in the Black community, and that was a huge discussion at one point. And in my view, it was, for us to even, take an understanding where we were building ourselves, and the process was really working. It was transforming men in front of my eyes. We saw men changing the way that they were working, their career progression, healthier family lives, and we wanted that for all intersections of the Black community. It wasn't just about us. And if we improve ourselves and we share the insights and the frameworks that we've used to have intersections of the community, we're then getting to a point where our whole community gets a lot healthier. And so for us, and for me specifically, the queer addition at the end was absolutely vital because it made our family complete. And it meant that every single intersection, we also have Dope Black Disabled, which is launching next month, which will then allow, everyone to be seen and heard in this one central conversation about how we improve the outcomes of Black people. So we are officially a family. I reference it as, Thanos and his gemstones. We have them all now. Significantly more powerful as a community where we are all on the same page about how we want to move going forward.
Just when I thought you had elevated yourself above it, you just became a guy again. You just became a guy again. Well done, buddy. Marvin, you're doing an amazing job. The fact that you've been able to spread this network across the globe, I can tell you here in South Africa, this is a voice that's needed. So thank you so much, my friend. And thanks for getting up so early and taking the time to connect with us here in SA.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
So inspiring, and I implore you to go check it out. Dope Black Dads, that what it is. I think I've learned a lot. So has Graham. But there's a lot more dope stuff coming up right here in the Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso on SABC3. Stay there.
Only you can make my day.
Okay, guys, let's go for first sound check, please. Go around the room.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
New lower prices on Woolies exceptional quality every day.
Welcome back, you beautiful people. You're still locked in at your feel-good breakfast show here on SABC3. Now, it's only the third week of Jan and already stumped on what to make for dinner? Well, try these easy options. It's a creamy Parmesan chicken and veggie bake, and the best part, you only need one casserole, and into the oven it goes. Winning! Chef Clem, of course, you're here to deliver the goods. Help us win, my friend. Help me win. Help me entertain my guests for the future when I'm allowed to invite them over.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I was about to ask you, what is the day again today? I'm still in that December mode where you don't know what the days are.
That's fine. Bring it.
I was going to say, this is your midweek meal rescue dish. It's Thursday. We're kind of close to the middle, so it's fine.
Yeah.
What I love about this dish is the fact that it's one dish, because I've said this before, I don't like doing dishes, but also it's so complicated. People are back at work now, you get home, you want to get something going, but then there's the aftermath of the dishes. Not today.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I literally feel you, because I had an episode last night. I kind of burnt some chicken, I'm gonna be honest, and I was busy scrubbing the pan, and I got to this point where I was just bugger this, man.
Yeah.
I need
Where's
a
the pan
dishwasher
now?
in my life.
Where's the pan now?
It's still there. It's soaking overnight.
I like that method. I also do that. When my wife asked me, and this pan, I'm like, no, it's soaking. And she'll be like,
all right, well, so you can clearly see I'm glad the fact that I only have to wash one dish with
one dish.
So this
one
is cool.
dish.
I think I can do this. So where do we begin?
So I've already started opening up the chicken. So we know that Woolies have dropped the price of their entire fresh chicken range, which is amazing because you can now experience a Woolies quality at everyday low prices. It's not a promo.
Okay.
This is their new low price of the chicken.
Oh, wow.
So, and I like chicken dishes. People love chicken, and chicken recipes are super, super easy.
And there's thousands and thousands.
So many.
But we've got a top 5 coming through here for sure.
This is a good one. Okay, so what I've done is I got this bulk veggie roasting pack. These are really great because, again, they feed a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to use all of it.
Also, have you ever tried and cut your own veggies like this? That's like another hour of the game you just saved right there.
Wow. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Man.
Just peeling a butternut. I used to work in a restaurant where every day I had to peel 12 kgs of butternut.
You did your time, my man.
Wow. We was Woolworths then. Okay, so all I'm going to do is get my veggies in the bottom, and I want to get the veggies in the bottom because they're going to be like the bed. So any of the juices that come off the chicken, the veggies are going to absorb it. It's got extra flavor.
Yeah.
So then salt is very important because you want to season each layer that you add to the dish. You want to get that seasoning going right through the whole dish.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you if you can add some chicken stock and some cream to this little jug over here and give it a good mix.
Okay.
And I've spoken about these chicken little stock sachets. These are essential for your pantry. They come in like you have no idea. If you have a stew that just doesn't taste like it's there, one sachet of that is all you need. It's got a little bit of seasoning in there.
And that body and that flavor.
That umami flavor.
Mother's love.
Oh, okay. Umami and mother's love. Okay. So that goes in there. So then,
you want me to do a chicken stock and some cream, of course?
Just one sachet inside is enough. So then salt goes in, pepper goes in, and I'm going to layer my chicken over the veggies. And I'm using bone-in chicken, which is nice because we're going to roast it. If you were going to do chicken breasts, what I would do is I would roast the veggies halfway, then add the chicken breast, because chicken breast cooks kind of quickly. It doesn't have that center bone, which keeps it moist, like the thigh and the leg do. Are you a leg guy or a thigh guy?
I like it all, I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest with you. And also, I must just say, this chicken stock tastes amazing. I accidentally bit it open.
No, you can't. This is just for you and me.
There's flavor in here.
This is just for you and me, so it's fine. It's just us. It's got that serious flavor. It really is amazing. So, skin side up, because you want to render out some of that fat. And remember, chicken doesn't have a lot of intramuscular fat. A lot of the fat, most of the fat sits on the outside. So what you do is you want to roast that, get that flavor out of there, and get into the veggies as well.
Okay. I like that. And of course, guys, if you've just tuned in and you're wondering what magic is concurring in the kitchen over here. Concurring in the kitchen. And of course, over to woolworths.co.za, and this is where you'll get all this recipe inspiration. It's a beautiful casserole dish. We're using chicken, and I think it's going to be a top 5 when it comes to your meal. Well, your meal surprising if it is anything that you're going to be doing when you're inviting your guests later on when we are allowed to, because this is something I'm definitely adding to my top 5.
You should. Yeah. Okay, so these roasting packs have a bit of rosemary there. I've got some extra rosemary that's going in there. Then a little bit of butter. This is optional. but it does make a difference. It makes it extra rich.
Extra rich, give it that, if anything with butter on.
Anything with butter.
And of course, I would imagine the fact that are you going to be baking this or roasting it?
I'm going to roast it in the oven.
Roasting, okay.
Absolutely. Garlic, and there's about 6 cloves of garlic in there.
6
We don't
cloves.
play. We said in 2021, we don't count calories, we don't count chocolate. There's no quantity for chocolate, there's no quantity for garlic, there's no quantity for cheese.
Okay.
So and also, this is going to roast for like...
Man, I'm a garlic enthusiast, so like,
me
for me,
too.
I'm like, why are you putting on such a little, man?
Okay, we'll go get another 10 cloves. So then, what you've done is, you've now done the stock and the cream.
By the way, that was very, very simple. I didn't even have to think about it, so perfect.
So I just like giving a good mix, because you can pour your cream over, then pour your stock. I just want to make sure that everything's combined. You get a nice, even distribution of flavor.
Okay.
Cream and stock, pour that over there. Get it some over the chicken, over those veggies. So it's going to be so delicious and creamy. And honestly, I don't even take this out the dish when I serve it. I serve the whole roasting dish like that on the table, boom, and everybody helps themselves.
Yes, man, less washing up for me. I love that. Thank you.
So a little bit of drizzle of olive oil, oven, and then what I do is I let it get nice and colored, like get that nice brown skin on the outside. Some of the juices will come out at the bottom. Then the last 10 minutes, Parmesan cheese.
Oh, okay.
Parmesan cheese.
Why put it on only at the end and not right at the start, though?
Parmesan cheese will burn by the time that your chicken's cooked and the veggies are cooked. It'll be gone.
What, like burn, like black char?
Black. It's going to be bitter. It's not going to add anything to your dish. Nothing good. So you do this the last 10 minutes. Your cheese will melt, go nice and crispy. And again, Parmesan cheese, like that chicken stock, adds umami. That just makes you want to eat more of it. It tastes so good.
All about the umami.
All about the umami.
Yummy umami.
Oven comes out. You serve the whole dish like that on the table. Everybody helps themselves in it. And I would serve it in a bowl because you want that sauce in there.
Yeah.
The other thing I do, I kind of mash the butternut into that cream sauce. You get butternut mash with your chicken and other veggies.
Butternut mash.
With that garlic and that cream.
I got you. That is the stuff of magic. And of course, with that, you can kind of just make the meal carry on and on and on for days and days.
I feel bad. I didn't cook. All I did was open up packets really well, put it together really well in the oven. But that's how easy it is to make a good dish.
Life's good, eh?
Yes,
even I could make something like this.
Oh, you can execute it to a whole new level.
Of course, guys, head over to woolworths.co.za for this recipe inspiration. It is looking absolutely superb. I wish I could just take it and put it in my oven. I'm going to test this.
This is yours. This is yours.
Yes.
It's yours.
The rest of you guys, of course, if you want to know what's going on here, check out this recipe recap right now.
is indeed your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso at SABC3. And when it comes to music, we got it for you this morning. I think we all need it right now. And, you know, visual albums have seen an increase in popularity over the past couple of years. I'm sure you've seen them all over the social media sites. And these albums are more than just videos. They tell a story through the lyrics and the art and the music. I think it's so beautiful. And South African multi-instrumentalist, producer, music teacher, part-time lecturer. I'm sure there are 3 other things I should have mentioned from the University of Cape Town. His name is Blake Hallaby, and he recently released his visual album, Another Perspective. And this morning, Blake joins us to tell us a bit more about his visual album before taking to the floor to perform 3 songs for you from the album. Blake, welcome, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
I was speaking to Carl earlier on, and I was trying to give a story of how I met you. So your wife actually direct messaged me a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, my husband's amazing, you should hear him out. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, if everyone's going to message me that their husband is amazing, we're going to have a full-on show. And she sent me a link, and she's like, listen to it, and you'll understand. I opened the link, and I was like, whoa. South Africa needs to hear you. South Africa needs to see what you do, because you have such an interesting musical journey. And maybe you can share that with us this morning.
Yeah, so I come from a classically trained background. I learned classical piano from the age of 8, and I went on to do all my classical stuff, and I wasn't that interested. And then I discovered jazz eventually when I went to high school. I went to Sax High, and they forced me into jazz. And then I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like, you know, and I started falling in love more and more, and I couldn't find myself getting myself away from the piano. I was just, you know, at first it was more sport orientated, but then I went into jazz, and I never turned back. I went to study jazz against my whole family's wishes, and I love it. So I went on to study jazz, and then from there I discovered a whole world of music, of pop and stuff, which I wasn't exposed to much as a kid. And it's been a really amazing journey finding myself in this. I still am.
You can tell there's a lot of passion from you. And when somebody says a multi-instrumentalist, it's so difficult. You know, when they say you're jack of all trades and a master of none sometimes. How difficult was it to kind of say, okay, piano's first, and now let's pick up all these other things and still obviously have that, you know, musician's obsession with making sure that everything that you play is perfect?
Well, yeah, I've kind of given up on a lot. Not forever, but it's kind of like, you know, you get good at something and you think you're good, and then you get better and you realize you're not good at all. And I kind of got to that, and I realized I still need to learn to play the piano better before I pick up these other ones properly, you know. So it's really good having learned. I learned saxophone at high school, and I did bass at university. And understanding those instruments has really helped my production, whether it be pop or jazz production arrangement or something like that. That's been amazing, but yeah, piano's a lot.
But can you play the triangle, though? Because maybe you can give us some inspiration on how to play that.
I kid you not. We are doing, the 3 of us, and I'm producing an album with a Brazilian artist. And, you know, even in South Africa, we have a percussionist playing, and he's like, you're not playing the triangle right. And he's a percussionist.
There's a way to play it?
Yeah, he's like, no, you have to drop your hand and all. I'm like, you do that.
What?
It's cool.
I thought it was just like a cowbell.
No, it's like in Brazil and those South American, it's like there's a plate. You know, someone plays a plate. A real plate and a knife. And that's on the album. I had to record him. I'm like, how do I mic up a plate?
that does make sense, because on a Sunday lunch, usually, that's what I do.
I was saying, you know, you don't want those people at your Sunday lunches. Yeah. They look like, do you like this plate? You know? Sounds great.
So I just want to ask you about Another Perspective, because now you've got all of these collective influences, and now you've put this thing together, which is a visual album. Yeah. Tell me a bit more about how you've come to a visual album, because I think that, you know, it's quite a bold move for anybody. And more importantly, how does anybody go grab that and go check it out?
Well, first and foremost, it's on the National Arts Festival page.
Nice.
You can just Google it, Another Perspective, Blake Hallaby, and you'll find it. Basically, in lockdown, everyone was doing live streaming. You know, all the musicians didn't know how to get the creativity, and not only because we needed to make money, but because for most of us, it is what we do. Like, we have to let out our soul. You know, we have to do it, whether it's good or not. And so my manager wanted me to do a live stream, and he was like investing in all his equipment. And as time went by, I was realizing it's getting boring. Like, it's not the same. Most people, you can't connect to the audience in a live stream. It's a different perspective.
There it is.
Yeah, so I had to do that. Yeah, so, and then I realized, like, I started writing for it. I started writing some music because, you know, in lockdown, we were given time, and some people used it productively and some didn't, and I decided to use it productively. And I started like seeing things and noticing stuff when I was reading, and problems in society, and what we could gain from it and what we've lost from it. Eventually, when it came around to us kind of getting around to actually doing it, I realized like a live stream wouldn't do this justice, you know. And I then penned the idea of the story of how each song fitted in together. And I sat with the director, Paulo Costa, and he videoed everything and put it together painstakingly for hours and hours and days, putting the whole story together and making something of it into something more than just a performance. So it's not something you can experience on stage, and it's not something you can experience on a live stream. It's a mixture of everything. So it's a story with visuals, with me narrating over it a bit, and us playing in studio live.
I want to hear this live.
I'm excited that everybody else gets to experience what I got to experience virtually, but now we are doing it right here.
Okay, can you just play something for us, if you don't mind? I know that you got your crew here. I'm not sure what their names are. I think it's like Dane Paris and Sean Sandby and Zeke LaGrange.
I don't know them, but
I think but I'd love to hear Circumstances, which is the one that I actually picked up on when I stalked you last night before this interview. So if you don't mind humoring us with some amazing jams. Okay, cool. Let's get the chairs out the way like we do at the yard parties. Let's go.
Cool.
Yes, that is what we're talking about. We've got a lot more from this incredible individual and his band, Blake Hallaby, a little bit later on Expresso. Plus, a couple of social media stars for you on Expresso. Stay right there.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
I'm so glad you stayed right there. This is Expresso, your feel-good breakfast show. And feel-good stories are so important. I love it when positive stories go viral on the interwebs. And our next guest, Joshua Rubin, as well as Caroline Ndlovu, first came to our attention 3 years ago when Joshua was teaching his family's domestic worker, Caroline, how to drive. And they decided to record their sessions on video, post them on Facebook. Next thing you know, viral sensations. Little did they know that their antics would actually garner over 1 million views. But it's been 3 years since they were last on the couch, and it's so important to kind of check out how they've been surviving lockdown, and what other projects they have for 2021. But first, I want you to take a look at this.
I was feeling like when I'm sleeping, if it's a dream, I don't want anyone to wake me up, because this dream is good.
No, we'll turn away before then. What are you doing? Stopping? Go straight.
No, they must go.
Stop.
Look at this.
Sorry. Sorry.
Okay, can I go now?
I'll go now.
Where? This side?
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Actually, go left, y'all. Go left. Stop!
What?
Okay, just for reference, we almost went straight through that guy's garage.
That was my happy moment. I was enjoying by that time, because like seeing yourself on TV, seeing yourself on newspaper, seeing yourself walking around and people say hello. It was like, it was a great time. I wish that thing can happen again.
Oh my goodness. You see, this is what happens when positive stories go viral, and this is why it's so important for us to make sure that we get these two for a catch-up on the couch. So welcome, Joshua and Caroline. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're doing good. Well, I'm doing good. How are you doing, Caroline?
I'm fine.
I know you're fine. I can tell you're very relaxed, though. I know it's TV, but I mean, you're very chilled and relaxed, because obviously this is something that you do all the time. I have heard that the videos that you guys put out collectively, it's about 50 million.
Something like that,
views.
yeah. And we keep saying, like, it's amazing how 3 years down the line, this simple video that we made is still going.
But it has to go, because I think what you showed in the video is that there is so much opportunity if you just open yourself up and say, hey, let's try something.
Mm-hmm.
And something good, because you wanted to empower somebody around you, Josh, which is very commendable, I must say.
Thank you.
Did you ever get your driver's license, Caroline?
No, I'm busy with something at the moment.
There's a bit of complications there, but we're trying.
Yeah,
we're trying.
but I'm still going there. to get one.
Okay, are you still practicing at least? I mean, Josh, have you taken Caroline for another lesson since?
So we haven't been for a lesson, but recently we went drifting with a friend of mine, Ernest.
Oh.
And Caroline wasn't driving, but she was right there in the passenger seat, which was like a very scary experience. But even for me, I was very scared. But I think it was I don't know, it was a good experience.
Yeah, it was a good time.
But no driving lessons as of late.
Oh, that's fine. That's okay. Whatever you're busy with, I'm sure it's going to be a success. Okay, I'm going to put that into the universe. But
yeah.
From your side, Caroline, I think it's important for us. It's been 3 years since you've been on the couch, so we want to just get some background as to when this crazy, talented person came into your life. You know, how did that happen? How did you guys connect first?
First, I came there to work.
Yes.
I was young. I can say that. He was young too. So, you know, when young connected,
yes,
something come up is not a thing. So we like enjoying fighting. You know, when people always fighting,
yes,
that means they love each other.
That's true, eh? In a family, especially.
You know, the Katie, they always like this 2 minutes they're playing. So it's the life, and then I say, oh, this one, you can be good friends.
Oh, that's
starting
beautiful.
Like that every day, watching dishes. Can wipe for me. When you say no, I'm getting angry because now so like starting like that, and then until now.
This is so, it's really beautiful because you guys got a lot of chemistry. In fact, I know we're trying to social distance, but you wanted to sit next to each other for this interview, which is beautiful. Josh, from your side, when it comes to off the camera stuff, I know Caroline gave us a bit of insight, but I wanted to find out a bit more about how, I'm sure you knew there was a spark there. Something had to have driven you to say, hey, let's get into a car and record something. Caroline is an open person and she'd be up for it.
So Caroline has been with my family since she was 18 or 19 years old, and our relationship on camera is completely different to our relationship off camera, because on camera I feel like it's always happy and fun, and it's not the same off camera. It's the same, but in a different way, because it's like brother and sister, where we get angry, we fight, and she is like my sister, and we fight like brother and sister. There's days where I wake up and I don't want to speak to her, and there's days where we can't stop laughing and playing. And in terms of the driving lesson, we weren't going to record it.
Yeah.
So she wanted to learn to drive for a long time, and my mom, the one day I said, let's go, and my mom said, take the camera, because it could be quite funny. And I wasn't planning on posting it. I posted a little snippet of it, and someone said that this is amazing, you must post the whole thing. And I ended up posting it, and that's kind of when everything started.
Well, that is an incredible story.
Yeah.
And I know, Caroline, obviously you got closer and you've got some wishes and you've got some dreams to the future. And I know, Josh, you have been focusing on empowering and continuing it. It's not just about 50 million views. It's about a family member needing as much help as she can get. So, yeah. Caroline, from your side, I believe that you want your kids to get degrees one day. What else is on your wish list?
To own my own property.
Aha.
Yeah.
That is a very, very good one. Because there's nothing better than that type of safety, to have your own property, kids getting degrees. But now we need money, and that's where you come in, Joshua, because I believe that you've started a crowdfunding campaign.
So Caroline's got an amazing story, and people always see, we said in that video, the happy, funny side of Caroline. But there's so much more to her, and she's been through a lot in her life.
Yes.
And the reason I feel like the driving lesson was so powerful was because she's been in a serious car accident in the past. And I wanted to tell her story. That's what I do. I'm a storyteller. And I thought, I can't let this opportunity go to waste. So I wanted to use that to kind of start a crowdfunding page so that I can get her own property. And my family helped contribute, but we also still needed some other help as well. And we haven't reached our goal yet, but the crowdfunding page is doing very well.
Great. How do we connect to that crowdfunding page?
So it's on BackaBuddy.
Nice.
And the link isn't in my bio on my Instagram, but I'll put it back in after
It's on screen now. Don't worry.
Is it in? Okay.
Don't worry. I do my research. I got you sorted out.
Well, there you go. There's the link.
Please support Joshua as well as Caroline. I think they are just beautiful people with great spirits. And a little later, we're going to focus a bit more about what you mentioned now with regard to the documentary stuff. And Caroline, stand by later, because these two have to go head to head in a bit of a game that we have for you right here on Expresso. Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much, Carl. From the feel good to our local national news headlines. Let's kick it off. Here in South Africa, 2 male nurses aged 40 and 45 have been arrested in Durban and charged after stealing a credit card from a businessman who was on his deathbed at St. Augustine's Hospital. Video footage showed one using the card after the businessman had actually died. And it's alleged that the PIN code was saved on the deceased's cell phone, recovered at a second-hand shop. His business partner, with whom he shares a joint business account, noticed the card was being used while his partner was hospitalized and even after he had passed away. Staying in South Africa, Police Minister Veggie has asked South Africans to do the right thing and spare themselves a criminal record. He reiterated that since level 3, a mask has become mandatory and that it's a criminal offence not to wear one. He said he hoped arrests would stop citizens from breaking the law. Meanwhile, the Department of Health has now confirmed 18,555 new COVID-19 cases in the country and 806 more deaths in the past reporting period. Casting a wider net on the international front, Donald Trump last night became the first president in American history to be impeached twice or charged with crimes by Congress. The U.S. House of Representatives has impeached Trump for incitement of insurrection at last week's Capitol riot. 10 Republicans sided with the Democrats to impeach the president by 232 to 197 votes. Trump will now face a trial in the Senate where, if convicted, he could face being barred from ever holding office again. Trump will leave office on Wednesday following his election defeat last November to Democrat Joe Biden. Bringing it back to the continent, Mozambique and Tanzania are strengthening relations to combat cross-border terrorism ahead of a regional summit on a rebellion that threatens nearly $60 billion in natural gas projects. President Filipe Nyusi of Mozambique has now visited Tanzania to meet with his counterpart, John Magufuli, prior to next week's Southern African Development Community Conference. And it's reported that the two leaders have agreed to reopen a joint committee on defense and security. Since 2017, insurgents working with the Islamic State have killed some 2,500 people in the region. And now news of millions of tons of food that is wasted. Well, maybe not. Chefs with Compassion, an alliance led by 5 local and global organizations and supported by over 300 chefs, restaurant owners and volunteers, has turned over more than 1.3 million meals to support vulnerable communities in South Africa during the COVID-19 lockdown. The volunteer organization rescued over 470 tons of food and provided some 1.4 million meals, which were distributed to the poor through their volunteer network. Chefs with Compassion was established early in April last year, shortly after the declaration of a state of disaster by President Cyril Ramaphosa, and began turning surplus rescued produce that would otherwise have gone to waste into flavoursome, nutritious curries and stews. South Africa produces some 31 million tonnes of food every year. Of that, nearly 10 million tonnes is sadly wasted, 44% of which is vegetable and fruit. The chefs said sponsorship was now crucial, especially in a time that the second wave of COVID-19 is plaguing South Africa. So you can visit their website, learn how to become a supporter or beneficiary of the meals that are cooked and distributed through their network. On that very positive network news is where we round off and move into our sporting headlines. Plenty of midweek footballing action to catch up on. Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates returning to winning ways in the Premier Soccer League last night. Amakosi, they beat Amazulu FC 1-0 in Durban, and the Buccaneers recorded a 3-0 victory over Chakuma Cha Mazivandila. That was at the Toyondu Stadium. In other results, SuperSport United beat Bloem Celtic 2-1 to continue their impressive form in the PSL this season. A little further afield, English Premier League action continued as well, with Manchester City extending their unbeaten run to 14 matches. That's across all competitions, with a hard-fought 1-0 win over Brighton. South African footballing star and Brighton attacker Percy Tau impressed during his first appearance in the Premier League, giving Man City defender Alexander Zinchenko a pretty hard time. And other results from last night, Fulham came from one behind to draw 1-1 against Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And now on to golfing news. The Sunshine Tour yesterday announced that they will be postponing their 2021 schedule by 1 month due to the increase in COVID-19 cases here in South Africa. Organisers made the decision in support of President Cyril Ramaphosa's call for everyone to work together to curb the spread of the coronavirus. The planned February start for the Sunshine Tour has now been moved to March of this year. That's where we leave our sport for now. Let's take another look at the weather.
We asked you to send our sunrise pictures, well, your sunrise pictures to us, and thank you very much for doing that. We want to see what your part of the country looks like. And most of the time, it just looks so good. In fact, our regular sunrise contributor, Tokozo Theo Makatini, who sent out this photo of the bright blue sky in Johannesburg and Joburg. By the way, you can expect a maximum of 24 degrees and a 58% chance of thunder showers today. Port Elizabeth is showing off today with some beautiful pinks, reds, and yellows in this stunning picture that looks like it was painted, sent to us by Roxy Mays. PE, you can expect a bit of relief from the rain experienced yesterday with a partly cloudy day, hitting a max of 26 degrees and only a 25% chance of rain. So things are looking good. We want to wish you a fantastic day wherever you are watching from, and don't forget to share your sunrise pics with us on our Facebook page. Staying with some weather news from around the world, the World Food Programme says the south of Madagascar is facing its worst drought in a decade. There have been 3 straight years of drought and a deep recession brought forth by the COVID-19 pandemic. The 2020 harvest has been the worst in 5 years, and food parcels continue to be delivered by the World Food Programme in the south of the island nation. It is currently supporting 500,000 people living without food supplies, and it's estimated that some 300,000 more are in immediate need of life-saving support. Malnutrition rates have risen as children are forced to beg to help their families buy food supplies. The World Food Programme has appealed for emergency aid of some $35 million to combat the hunger in south of Madagascar. Our thoughts and prayers are with them at the moment. As we take a look at some of your temperatures from around the country, of course, I want to give you an idea of what to wear today. So Polokwane, 18 to 27, something light over there, please. Bombela, 19 the low to a high of 30, probably a vest would be good there. Pretoria, 17 to 25 for you, 44% a chance of thunder showers, so I suggest you stay indoors anyway. Johannesburg, 24 is your high today from a low of 16. Mahikeng, 19 to 28, something light would definitely do this morning. Klerksdorp, 20 to 28 for you, the same over there with a 52% chance of thunder showers. Kimberley, 20 to 29, sunscreen and hydration is what I suggest for you. Bloemfontein, 17 to a high of 28. Richards Bay, your high is 32 today, so probably a vest would work. 23 your low there. Pietermaritzburg, 29 from a low of 20 this morning with a 61% chance of thunder showers. Durban, you're looking good as always. 24 the low to a high of 30. Mthatha, very sexy. 29 the high from a low of 20 with a 43% chance of thunder showers. East London, 57% chance of rain in your area, so of course umbrellas and possibly layering for your clothing options. 26 your high. Cradock, 20 to a high of 34 today. Port Elizabeth, 22 is the low this morning to a high of 26. Hello George, 27 is your high today from a low of 21. The Mother City, a high of 29 from a low of 17. A good chance to post all the pictures of the city on Instagram and make the entire country jealous, as you always do. Worcester, 16 to a high of 39 degrees. So sunscreen, hydration, take it easy. Sutherland, 14 to a high of 31. Uppington, your high is 33 from a low of 22. And do remember there's a 51% of thunder showers in your area. That's it for the temperatures right on Expresso. And keep on sending those sunrise pictures and send it to our Facebook page, please.
Zanzi, it is cooking indeed today. Of course, it is hot, it is fire, and we are bringing you everything of the same thing right here on the show this morning. Jamie, how's it going on your side?
So good. You know what's heating up as well is our social media platforms, because this morning we asked you to maybe acknowledge the heroes and heroines in your life and maybe why you'd want to do so. And of course, you guys came through with so many positive messages. We'll start off with Bongankosi Madolo, who says, my grandmother, oh wow, she is everything. I don't even know where to start. Thank you, Mom Mkashwa. With some praying hands. We also have Christelle Barrington that says, from my hospital room as I recover from COVID-19, and we're sending you all our wishes, the nursing staff need to be commended for carrying us through this. Yes, they are the heroes
truly,
indeed.
All our frontline workers doing so much. And then we've got Josephine Pickstone, one of our top fans. Thanks to my husband, my friend, my everything. He's the breadwinner. He works hard every day to provide for his family. And I know there's a lot of people having to take the strain to support the entire family. So respect to everyone out there doing that. And then we've got Courtney Kate says, my mom, she's been with me through it all. Even in my darkest hour, she has been my strength. Now that woman deserves the world, and I appreciate her a lot.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love it, Mzansi. Thank you so much for sharing all the beautiful heroes and heroines that are in your lives. And I know the list goes on and on and on, and you can keep getting us know. Of course, reach us on our social media channels, but let us kick off with the rest of the magic.
Are you you ready for a sizzling summer holiday in Mzansi? Your best holiday is yet to come when you book at any participating Marriott branded hotel. Redefine your holiday with a beach break, nature retreat, or a road trip adventure. With the Marriott Summer Holiday offer, you can enjoy 25% off standard hotel rates, including free breakfast if you're a Marriott Bonvoy member and 15% if you're a non-Bonvoy member. Book on Marriott.com for the best rates guaranteed.
Here's to you, can't work from home workers. Bo Terminator, cause every meeting key, I'll be back. The mask forgetting shoppers. And you, who go the extra mile instead of keeping just 1.5 meters. To you who opened your doors again, we take our hats off. Nina, who kept us moving, 100%. And of course, there no Mayini general dealers. You might not be essential workers, Mara, you too played an essential role in keeping Mzansi working. And that's why we're giving you a chance to win your share of 5 million rand. Join Nedbank today.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're still keeping it locked right on your Feel Good Breakfast Show on SABC3. Now, as South Africa approaches 300 days into our national lockdown, believe it or not, we have spent more time at home than ever before. And as 2021 has ushered in stricter and prolonged restrictions, the accumulated time at home is bound to make us feel a bit stir-crazy and prone to feeling a bit annoyed by inconsiderate neighbours. Now, a friend and expert in law director at legalease.co.za, Eitan Stern, is back with us for our regular feature where we focus on the unconventional side of the law. It's called So Now What? And today he's giving us guidance on the measures that can be taken when our neighbours are being a nuisance. Good morning, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'm going to say everything because it's been a while since we've connected with you.
It has been a while. It's nice to be out the house.
Yeah, and it's so good having you out the house in our studio, of course. So thank you for joining us. But Eitan, I got to ask, when it comes to just even the rules in general, when it comes to noise, disturbances, what's actually even expected when it comes to your neighbours and you just being considerate in general? I mean, what are the rules?
For sure. So it's important to know there are two types of noise. There's noise disturbance and noise nuisance. Noise nuisance is the sort of thing that we're probably talking about, barking dogs, electric fences, someone playing their music too loud. That's going to be noise nuisance, which can kind of happen sporadically. And then you have noise disturbance, where there's kind of objective criteria around, and that'll be around like what nightclubs are allowed to do. And if you remember nightclubs, there was this thing that we used to have.
Back in the day.
So from factories or nightclubs, so noise restrictions. And different areas are going to have different rules around what disturbance you're allowed to have. So if you're living in inner city, Cape Town or Joburg, you can expect the rules for noise disturbance to be a little bit more lenient because you can expect, because that's where the nightclubs and factories will be. Whereas if you're living in the middle of suburbia in Constantia or something, then you're going to be able to expect a little bit more peace and quiet. So if you want to know what noise is allowed in terms of disturbance, you're going to have to check the bylaws of your specific area. It's going to differ area to area. But noise nuisance, when barking dogs, electric fences, that sort of stuff, it's also going to differ area to area, but generally you are not allowed to do anything which disturbs your neighbor in an unreasonable manner. And so it's going to be judged case to case.
Okay. Now, when it comes to these laws and these rules, is this now affected by the adjusted lockdown level 3 restrictions in any way?
Okay, it's a great question, and also something everyone's, it's very pertinent to everyone. So there wasn't anything in the lockdown regulations around disturbance. I mean, there's the laws that are there around kind of priority things like trying to stop the spread of the virus. So they didn't introduce any laws around disturbance and nuisance. That being said, as we are all home a lot more, everyone is going to have to be more conscious of their neighbors, and body corporates might put in place rules around when people are allowed to build or not allowed to build and make noise. So it's going to be up to clusters of houses like body corporates or housing schemes to make the rules. But as far as the government regulations are concerned, there was nothing new added for lockdown.
So it's more a matter of just kind of being considerate, genuinely, and actually just taking someone else into account.
That is I couldn't put it better in any way, and that's something which I think a lot of us forget in these instances.
Yeah.
Be considerate of neighbors, and if someone's making a noise, just go and say, do you mind keeping it down?
So, which draws me to my next question. So when is that time when you should feel like, okay, look, there's definitely a disturbance. These guys are having a social gathering or a party or something of the sort. What do I do? Do I go knock on the door? Do I report it to the authorities? What's the best step?
So the first thing is, I employ a bit of patience. If something's a disturbance, it'll have to be over a prolonged period of time. Dogs bark. I have a dog. He barks. If a dog is incessantly barking for hours and hours and hours, that is a nuisance. If a dog barks once or twice, that's not a nuisance, that's called life. Then, so if the noise has to be prolonged for a period of time, it'll also have to be in a part of the day that causes a nuisance. So if it's after, say, 10 p.m. at night in a suburban area, or if it's during the day now that people are working, I suppose if it's a prolonged period during the day. What do? Well, on government website, there's actually a portal there with numbers that you can call and information around this. The government's actually done a great job, or the Cape Town government has done a great job in putting out a portal with information, and where you should be able to get numbers over there. And then if a disturbance does continue to occur and you can't find anything helpful there, you can call the police, the SAPs, who it's their job to kind of come out and regulate the peace.
Okay. Well, we're definitely going to continue this conversation because sometimes it is out of your control. Like you said, you do have a dog. Maybe that is a topic we can discuss in our next part. So we're going to be figuring out so now what with our friend at legalese.co.za, Eitan Stern, in just a moment.
Now, talking about spending a lot of time at home, maybe you make a little bit of noise in the kitchen, you like to sing when you cook. There are many meals that we have had to cook to, and we love spending time in our kitchen. We are keeping the plant-based goodness coming to you with something spicy and aromatic that's going to fill those rumbling tummies on a budget as well. We love the sound of that during lockdown. On the menu today is our vegan power-packed chickpea coconut curry, loaded with Be Well canola oil and vegetables galore. And this recipe is completely meat-free, and it takes about 15 minutes to prep. Angie Boyd is back in the house, looking resplendent, looking gorgeous, looking like you are going to own 2021. Welcome back,
Let's
girl.
hope so. Thank you very much.
So good to see you, especially when you bring these lovely sweet treats. We are loving the veganuary, if you will, this movement towards a meat-free January, just because it's educating us on other options. And there is something to be said for stretching the budget, and something like this really does do that. What's going on? Because I'm seeing a lot of spices.
Yes, lots of spices. Look, it's more of an aromatic curry, so it's not super hot. It's one of those lovely, which is quite nice. And I agree with you with the vegan. I cannot say it.
I know, it took me a while as well. I did a voice.
But it is about education, sort of kind of getting that message out that we don't have to have meat every day.
Which is, South Africans, we love our meat, but there is a knock-on effect, and you've got to, and just from a health perspective, it's really good to get the veggies
environment, all of those things.
I think key is making sure then in that you've got bucket loads of flavour.
Absolutely. So we do have lots of flavour. And what we're going to do, let me just turn this on, is we've got our onions browning here. Just check that is on. And we're going to do we've got some mustard seeds. So we're going to pop those in. Little extra oil. You need a little extra oil with the spices just because they do absorb some oil.
Okay.
And you want to get them to really pop a little bit and get those flavours.
And how important is it to do that, to release the flavours first with your spices? Because this seems to be a commonality across so many of the curries, whether it's a spicy or going the more aromatic route.
So curries, I always think, it's a bit of a layering thing. So you do your spices first with enough oil that it doesn't dry and burn on the bottom. We're not burning them, we're just releasing the flavours, getting them out. Activating. So we've got some paprika. If you wanted it a bit hotter, you could use some cayenne pepper. This is some turmeric. And then some curry leaves as well. So they're not super hot, but they've got those beautiful flavours that are going to come through. And you're going to cook those curry leaves out, adding extra oil as you need, just so it doesn't burn.
And you can keep the bee well going. You can add as much of that as you want.
Absolutely.
We know that being locally produced, we know that it's come from a really good source as well, which makes a lot of sense. But it carries that Heart and Stroke Foundation seal of approval. So it's certainly going to make a healthy additive.
Right, so we're just cooking these out. You can sort of hear it popping. Those are the mustard seeds popping, which are beautiful. And then you're going to add your other stuff. So you've got some fresh chili, as little or as much as you like, depending on how hot you like it. I like it more flavourful, not too hot.
Not too hot, sure.
And then what we do is we turn the heat down a little bit before you add your ginger and the garlic. Because we want the flavour to come through, but you don't want... Garlic burns really easily, so you add it more towards the end. Otherwise, you're going to get that sort of bitter flavour from the burnt garlic.
It's got a very high sugar content, I've been told by a chef, so that's why it burns.
And you can actually smell it now, but now we want to turn it down. As soon as you can smell it, you turn it down, and then you add your liquid ingredients. So we've got some tomatoes.
It's a good indicator. Once you can smell it, you know that
then you know you've released the flavour. And then you add your tomato. You can see it bubbling up. And you can already smell it. That smells good, right? Some salt and pepper. And again, with the seasoning, layer it. Do it in stages. So a little bit now, and then you can check again a little later. Does it need some more? We've got some coconut milk. So this makes it vegan. This is a vegan dish as opposed to even a vegetarian. So we don't have any dairy or animal product.
And we are blessed now. If you want to go the vegan route, regardless of your lifestyle choice, take the emotional element out of it. There are so many options for you to try now. The prices are coming down because there's a demand within the marketplace now. We have access to a much wider variety. So do it. Just
it's actually becoming exciting now to go and see what's out there in the shops and try new things. Right, and then you're going to add your veggies. So veggies are whatever you want. In this case, we've got some potatoes. We're going to add those. And again, I'm going to talk about the layering because you're going to add your potatoes first, get them cooking because they are going to take the longest to cook. So get them going. We aren't going to be able to do it right now because it's going to take a good couple of hours, I think. So you get your potatoes going. Once they sort of half soft, you can then add the next stage of veggies, which would be your pumpkin or butternut, because that's going to go a lot quicker. And once you're happy with that, and you can cook it as much as you want. I wouldn't go complete mush. I quite like to have a little bit of texture. You could even roast your butternut off first and then add it towards the end. So you've got a little bit of a roasty flavour going on. And then once it's completely cooked down, you can see here it's nice and saucy and the liquid sort of evaporated and thickened up. Then right at the end, you're going to add your chickpeas because they are tinned, so they're already cooked. So they're going right at the end.
Warm them through.
Right at the end. And the same with your peas. You can add, if you don't want the peas, don't add the peas.
I love this. You've got a lovely mixture of different textures in there as well. It pops with colour. It's aromatic. I'm getting wafts of these amazing flavours coming through. But what you've done there is you've taken some of the least expensive ingredients that you can buy to bulk this up as well.
Inexpensive, hearty, filling, and very nutritious as well. And then right at the end, once your curry's beautifully cooked and you're happy with the textures and the flavours, add some extra seasoning, and then you're going to add your...
with some coriander.
I love coriander. What is wrong with you, Graham? It's the best ever.
The debate. I've tried. Angie, that looks spectacular. It looks beautiful. I love the fact that it's a budget buster as well, and it's going to be filled to the brim with flavour, which is the most important thing from a curry, full of those aromatics. And you can find this at expressoshow.com if you want to cook along with us. Angie, so good to see you, man. So good.
Pleasure.
be well, love, food, life.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're still locked in at your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and we're continuing our discussion with lawyer and director at legalese.co.za, Aiton Stern, as he gives us guidance on the measures that can be taken when our neighbours are being a nuisance. Man, and I've got to say, I've got the perfect question for you. I mean, when it comes to disruptions in your property and everything else like that, and previously in our discussion, we happened to speak about animals, dogs, and becoming a nuisance. When is it okay to say that, well, when is it okay to say this dog is a nuisance? I need to do something about this. The neighbour's not there. What options do I have?
Sure. So, with property, we have the right to enjoy our property up until the point that it is disturbing our neighbors or other people's property. So if you have a dog and the dog is barking incessantly while you're not there, you have, as a dog owner, have a responsibility to make sure that that doesn't happen. And there's a lot of ways to do that. Daycares, doggy therapy, hotels, take your dog with you. It's not your neighbor's problem necessarily. But as I said earlier, just because a dog barks once doesn't make it a nuisance. If it disturbs your right to enjoy your property, you can't sleep, you can't work, then it is a nuisance and you can do something about it.
So the next time a neighbor knocks on my door, it's my responsibility. I need to sort my dog out, is what you're saying. 100%. All right, I got you.
At what point would you then say we should call authorities like the SPCA because, the dog is now becoming a nuisance and disturbing our peace and our space?
Sure. So the SPCA, fantastic organization, and it's their job to make sure that animals are safe, and that's something really important to remember. Their job is not to control the peace in society. We've got the police for that. Their job is to make sure animals are safe. So you can call the SPCA not just because a dog barks, but where you think that a dog is in danger or in trauma. So if someone has left their dog at home for 5 days and gone on holiday and just left their dog somewhere at home, call the SPCA. But if you live in a mansion in Camps Bay and your next door neighbor in their mansion has a dog that's barking, please don't waste the SPCA's time. Go over, knock on the door, say, sorry, neighbor, please can you keep your dog down? And I think we forget that, and especially now when people are at home, everyone's agitated, COVID, it's been a hard time. Just, let's not forget that neighbors are, we have to have good relationships with them. So try that first. If that doesn't work, SPCA, but please don't waste their time. And, you always have the police.
All right, so I just got to recap, because I think this is actually very valuable information. A lot of us don't know if we even have the right to complain, as you've just mentioned. So I like the fact that you mentioned that. I just want to run through that one more time. So just to be on the same page as you, your guidance would be chat to your neighbor first, have a conversation before you take it that step further. And if you're not confident, or if it is continually disturbing your homely space, then potentially maybe take it a step further with authorities, right?
Yeah, 100%. Look, we live in cities and in societies, and this is always going to be a thing of balancing our rights against other people's. So you have a right to enjoy your space, and you have a right to have a dog. Your neighbor has a right to enjoy their space and to have a dog. So where you are stepping into someone's enjoyment, so, noise at night or unreasonable amounts of prolonged noise or disturbance, then that is not allowed according to the laws, and you can check the bylaws of your specific neighborhood. Then you can report it to the police, and if an animal is in danger, report it to the SPCA. And I would go so far as to say, if you're going to report something to the SPCA, consider donating to the SPCA as well.
All right, well,
Indeed.
Listen, Eta, I know obviously everybody can reach out to you at legalease.co.za for any more questions, but I've got one that's just come in through from Josephine Pixton on our social media channel. So she says, sometimes neighbors can complain unnecessarily, like one morning I was vacuuming and the neighbor came over and said, your vacuum is too loud, I can't hear my TV.
Okay.
What is it?
Because you're trying to watch Expresso. Like,
Yeah. My advice would be chill, Winston. No, so it's a great example. Vacuuming, it's not going to be prolonged unless this person is vacuuming 24 hours a day. It's probably going to be half an hour of vacuuming. It's not prolonged. It's a reasonable noise. And if they're vacuuming in the middle of the day, not 3 in the morning, I think that's totally legitimate. If they start vacuuming from 3 to 5 in the morning, that would be considered a nuisance.
Okay, so me as the person in the house being complained to if I'm making food in the blender or vacuuming, I shouldn't feel that bad then because I'm just living my life, right?
For
Do you want to say something? I feel like this is an open space where you want to say something.
I think there's a little message going to the neighbor at 7B.
Are you watching, neighbor? Leave me alone.
Yeah, I think that, you know, a lot in the law, and especially in these things of nuisance, come down to the what we call the reasonable person test. What would the reasonable person do in this instance?
Okay.
And if your actions are reasonable, and you're just living in your space and using your blender, then that's life. If your neighbors don't like that, they should move to quieter, you know, areas or move out into the countryside. But, you know, it's always going to be a balance of, you know, treat your neighbors as you treat yourself, I believe has been said. And realize that while you're making a noise now, they could be making noise later, and it's going to have to be this kind of push and pull.
Be considerate and be kind. I think that's what we'll take away from this. 8 and Stone, always good to connect with you, and so good to connect with you guys as well. Expresso One Show, SABC3.
You know what's really neighborly? I feel like the etiquette should be to give your neighbor a cup of coffee, especially if they are vacuuming. It'll be a good idea. But we know that George Clooney is a massive fan of Nespresso coffee, and we've got our very own George Clooney in studio. Hi, Graham.
Me?
Yeah. That's right. Just
What else?
Do your George, do the
What
George
else?
face. There is. That's right.
I thought you meant I am letting a little grey come through these days.
I didn't mean it that way. I meant the good-looking part. Don't worry.
No, I love George Clooney, man, because he's got a sense of humour, okay? He can take these kind of jibes, okay? Buddy, I am going to do the neighbourly thing. I'm going to make you a quick cup of coffee. I'm going to make you the Inspirazione Napoli, which is nice and strong flavour profile. You up for it?
Inspirazione Napoli. It probably means inspiration of Napoli. There's inspiration, there's even passion from Nespresso's side. And one thing they do have a passion for is from the brand's commitment to sustainability. And if you want to find out how, watch this. Can't wait.
With every cup, we cultivate some of the finest coffee in the world that preserves the best of our world with human care and creativity. With every cup, we elevate every coffee moment into a movement with taste and purpose. Protecting what's precious to ensure exceptional quality. Celebrating farmers as artists who craft rare coffee. Reviving devastated farmlands to grow new beginnings. Transforming capsules into infinite possibilities. With every cup, we continue a journey that started 30 years ago with millions of coffee lovers. Because with every cup, precious coffee preserves the beauty of our world. Nespresso. What else?
Nespresso.
Wow.
What else?
You know,
what else?
George Clooney, Graham, same Telegram/Signal/WhatsApp group. I'm just letting you know. Wow.
We're off WhatsApp now. It's just Telegram.
I had to
and
mention
Signal.
all of the above.
Buddy,
Oh,
that's
thank you
yours,
very
man.
much, man.
Little cappuccino there, just for
I'm
you,
going to
man.
enjoy this. This is to you and to Graham. What else?
What else?
We chose some of the world's rarest local coffee crafts and refined them to create 5 distinct new tastes. After all, we are the choices we make.
you ready for a sizzling summer holiday in Mzansi? Your best holiday is yet to come when you book at any participating Marriott-branded hotel. Redefine your holiday with a beach break, nature retreat, or a road trip adventure. With the Marriott Summer Holiday offer, you can enjoy 25% off standard hotel rates, including free breakfast if you're a Marriott Bonvoy member and 15% if you're a non-Bonvoy member. Book on Marriott.com for the best rates guaranteed.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Thanks so much for staying with your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, here on SABC3. Yes, the brand new year is still fresh and exciting, and we're getting all the inspiration we can get. Our next guest is a superstar. She's amazing, the queen of our hearts, former Miss South Africa and now businesswoman, as well as queen of the cosmetics world. It's Cindy Nell Roberts. Cindy Nell Roberts, good morning.
Good morning, Tavisa. Good morning, Jamie.
Morning. The only time I always see you is when you're gracing our timelines with your beautiful, flawless skin and just living your best life. How have you been? How has the holidays been? How is 2020 and now 2021, the few weeks that we've been entered? How has that been for you?
2020 was the same for me as it's been for most people. Unexpected year. But having said that, for me, it really is a year that brought a lot of gifts. Time with family, personal growth, and just kind of resetting. So 2021, who knows what 2021 is going to bring, but I've decided to just take one day at a time and make lemonade with lemons.
Well, Cindy, a shared sentiment amongst so many of us as we step into this brand new year is that of gratitude. We're hearing it with so many of the guests that we've had on the show. Everyone seems to be, exercising that gratitude. There are so many things to be grateful for and lessons to take away from 2020. But what are you most grateful for?
Being able to have the time to go within and do some introspection, to really sit down and be able to see my children and really see who they are. And also being able to sit down and ask myself, what do I want from my life? It has given me the opportunity to sit down again and say, let me take out my notebook and write down what is important to me in my life. What is my 5-year plan? What is my 10-year plan? What is it that I'm really aiming for at the end of my life? Which has had a drastic impact on my life. It has changed a lot of my decision making. It has changed how I view the world, and it certainly will be changing how I will be conducting my decisions going forward.
And we are here for all of it. But something I always wanted to ask you is, how do you do it? How do you find a balance between being a mom? We see this, we see you doing it so elegantly, but then also being a businesswoman, still being in the public space. How do you balance it all? And what is that mantra for 2021 as well with regards to all of those aspects?
Well, Jamie, first of all, I want to assure you that sometimes it's not as elegant as you imagine it. As any mother, I'm sometimes falling apart in the kitchen and barely getting the boxes done, screaming at my children. But for me, really the key is planning. Waking up in the morning, instead of going onto my social media and just mindlessly scrolling, sitting down and journaling for 5 minutes, looking into the mirror and saying that, 3 things that I'm grateful for, doing a minute of meditation and deep breathing, having a glass of water, and really purposefully living and purposefully planning your day, as opposed to just mindlessly waking up and jumping into your day. And that's really what it takes. If you want to be able to be this super dynamic, amazing person that gets around to everything, then you need to change the little habits, how you wake up, how you go to sleep, and, being very purposeful about designing the life that you want.
You can't just exist into the day. You can't have the days own you. You want to take charge. You want to be present in each and every single one of these days. And intentional. It sounds like it. Cindy, okay, it sounds like you and I are aligned when it comes to this. You and I both believe in vision boards and planning out and mapping out what the next quarter of the year looks like, what the next year looks like. I'm sure people are waiting to hear out there what's on the cards for Cindy Nell Roberts. What are you busy working on?
At the moment, we are very vigorously working on two big launches for our two makeup ranges, and very exciting things. So we're evolving with the times and the needs for 2021. We are very, very busy with our life skills development programs in townships with my Women for Women Foundation, and that's really going well. We had a bit of a crash in 2020 where we weren't able to carry on with the township project. I've got two kids going to grade 2 and grade 4. My modelling academies are doing very well with my two partners. We're launching in Australia now, so we're very excited about breaking borders. I'm looking forward to a year of spending more time meditating, spending more time maybe travelling. I did any travelling last year, but quite happy to travel in South Africa. I think that's actually one of the gifts that COVID has brought us, is relooking our country and realizing what a wonderful place this is. And that's that, going with the flow and adapting to the new normal.
Well, listen, we wish you nothing of the best. When you are writing down and journaling, please write down the water that you also use, just because we also need the glow up for 2025.
I think that Cindy
Thank you.
is into makeup, so maybe it's the makeup packs she needs to send us. I will take the highlight.
I'm going to send you guys some makeup.
Perfect.
Beautiful body butters. I can see that there's a lot of male grooming going on there as well.
Absolutely. Sometimes too much, over the eye too much. But it's fine. We love you. We love you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You have been such a ray of sunshine, and we wish you everything on the best for the rest of 2021.
Oh, guys, thank you so much. You two are such a ray of sunshine, seeing what good mood you're in, and it really does inspire one.
It's the makeup.
Such a great chat with Cindy, and I think it's so important to take stock, and that actually reminds me of a song that we are enjoying. Well, we're going to enjoy with multi-instrumentalist and music producer Blake Hallaby. You met him a little earlier, and this particular song is called Cry. It's a song that reflects the crying of, well, for all the atrocities in the world and all that we faced in 2020 and beyond. I think it's a deep, beautiful track. It's another favorite from Blake's visual album called Another Perspective. So Blake, here he is with his band, including Dane Paris, Sean Sandby, and Zeke LaGrange. Enjoy. Yes. Blake Hallaby, Another Perspective visual album. Go grab it as soon as possible and support these incredible artists right behind me. I have a feeling you'll hear from them a little bit later. Plus, keep hashtagging Expresso Show with your comments about the heroes in your community. We'll be right back.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beautiful people. You're still locked in at your Feel Good Breakfast Show right here on SABC3. And of course, we're chatting to you, Mzansi, and asking you a very, very important question this morning, Jane.
Yes. Actually, on our YouTube channel, we wanted to figure out, you know, where people are connecting from, where they are. But first, we're going to find out, you know, who are the heroes in your life or the heroines in your life you'd like to acknowledge that has really brought a smile or changed something in your life and why. So we're connecting with you. What do people have to say?
So we've got Renan Souza who's come in and he says it's 1:07. That's in the morning here in Brazil. So firstly, thank you so much. Someone's watching you guys for practicing English. So that's what he's doing and he's using it. And I lived 1 month in Cape Town. Pretty sure I was South African in a previous life. I wish a good day to you all. So that's just coming through with some love there.
Yeah, absolutely. We go on to Magwa Miranda, who says, my mom is my biggest supporter for being the best support of my life and children. I don't know what would have happened if she was not there for me when I needed support. So Magwa, shout out to you and to your mom. We have Anthea Langeveld says, my thanks goes out to all of the heroes, the staff at GH Stark Frail Care Home where my mom lives. Thank you for taking such good care of her and all the other residents. May God protect you all. Yeah, and then we have one more from Celeste Adams. It says,
good morning, family. I would like to acknowledge my father. He is 70 years old and he is the breadwinner in our family and takes care of 12 people. I appreciate you and love you and I wish you could do more. I wish I could do more for you. Can you believe that? 12 people.
Wow.
And I think everybody out there is taking strain, doing so much to support our community and our loved ones. And I just want to wish you the strength to carry on doing the beautiful things that you are for your loved ones.
Thank you very much for honoring the people that you believe are heroes in your community. I've got two heroes on my couch over here, and we talk about Joshua and Caroline. You may know them from a couple of videos that were posted 3 years ago where Joshua taught Caroline how to drive. It was a fantastic video series. Over 50 million views popped out of it. But the thing is, I'm not going to make you guys drive. I do have a challenge, Joshua and Caroline.
Let's go.
Are you nervous? Let me ask you that first.
I think we were. We're a bit...
Are you calm now?
Yeah, we were more nervous the first time round.
So that means I can make you nervous now. This
Go
is
ahead.
Good. I have a couple of quick fire questions because I think that the true test of a really great relationship is if you know each other very, very well. So just a few simple questions that I feel like we kind of disregard these questions when you know somebody very well. And I want to add this to the table. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I can give you as a prize, but it's not going to be a hug because we're keeping safe. Now, here we go. Josh, first question is yours. Simple. Can you confirm Caroline's birth date and age?
She's 35.
Yes. And birthday? No. I
forgot.
You forgot. Terrible. How could you?
I'm not great on the spot.
50 million views for nothing. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Caroline, what is the answer? And when is your birthday?
18 May.
18th of May?
Yeah.
You will never forget that.
I'll never forget it again.
This is what national TV does to you. It makes you never forget these things that you missed. Caroline, it's your turn. What is Josh's favorite thing to eat?
Pancake.
Pancakes?
Yeah.
Joshua?
Pop. case is a close second, though. It's a close second one.
Pup, I'm learning more about you guys. I'm loving this. Josh, what are the names of Caroline's kids?
Princess and Vanessa.
Is this true?
Yes.
Spot on. Well done. Ding, 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 ding. Point for Josh. All right, Caroline, what is your favorite thing about Josh?
Laughing.
Is he a loving person? I can tell that from him. I feel it from here. Okay, that's the correct answer. I'm going to make that correct because there's no right or wrong answer, but I'm just going to make it correct. Josh, Caroline listed 3 things on her dream list in life in one of your videos. What are those 3 dream things?
To have our own place.
Yes.
For kids to get a degree. And I don't know the third one. For us to stay friends forever. I don't know.
Is this true in the video?
I don't know. What was the third one? She doesn't even know.
I think I mentioned a lot of things.
The family to be together was the other one in the video.
Okay, yeah.
You see, I watch your guys' videos more than you do. Anyway, Caroline, all right, Josh is all about recording the weird and wonderful stories of his life, as you know. What is the silliest thing he has ever recorded himself doing?
Keep it PG.
Let me think.
Silliest thing?
Anything.
Jumping over the wall.
Jumping over the wall?
Yeah.
I feel like he does that every day.
I feel like I
you
do
see that
too.
feeling, you know, he's that guy. Well, I actually was going, what about the handstand with the rat traps?
Into, but
that's quite normal at home, though. Yeah. It's quite a normal
jumping
thing,
over the wall is extraordinary. Oh my word!
Yeah.
Jumping over the wall.
Things get a bit crazy at the Reuben household.
Okay, that's fine. All right, I need to see that handstand amongst rat traps video. Okay, Josh, you took Caroline drifting in a sport car. Who do you think was the most scared?
If you watch the video, I was definitely more scared than Caroline was. Caroline was really scared at the beginning, like getting into the car, but once she was in, I don't know, she seemed to have a lot of fun. Am I right?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, the video's playing at the moment, as you can see on your screen. Look, Caroline, you're looking so calm. That's how I look on a Monday. Like, that's 7 a.m. on a Monday. That's how it is. Just like that. No, look at you, Caroline, like a champ. Ooh. Going around the outside, coming out. All right, so let me continue the quiz. If you thought that was good, we need to make this happen. So far, I do not know what the points are, but I'll make it up as I go along. The next question is simple. Caroline, what's the one thing that you have learned from Josh?
To forgive and forget.
To forgive and forget?
Yeah.
That is very special. Wow, Josh, would you say that's quite accurate? I mean, would you say, have you been like that, you know, forgiving and
I think
forgetting the bad stuff?
I think, especially with me, there's a lot to forgive because I put my family through quite a hard time for quite a lot of years, and Caroline was also that she was part of that as well.
Okay, that's
and
cool.
So I think that's a good one. Yeah,
I can tell because the forgiving is that, you know, what Josh mentioned, and the forgetting is him forgetting your birthday.
Yeah,
it's very special. That's great. I like that. And then a final one, Josh. What's the one thing that you've learnt from your relationship with Caroline?
Patience.
Patience.
Especially while filming. I think we can both get on each other's nerves quite a lot.
Yes.
Especially while filming. It's better when we're not filming. So I think in terms of that, it's just, I think patience is the number one. Because we both get on each other's nerves. I think it's about just kind of, I think taking our own time and doing things that are
on point.
And knowing when to kind of just walk away from the camera, I guess.
Oh, okay, well, that's beautiful. Thank you very much for being a great sport with regard to my game. We do have the results in from an independent auditor. It is a draw. Congratulations between Caroline and Joshua. We hear more about Joshua and his documentarianism a little later. But for now, we do need to check out on what's happening in your world. Here's the news with Graham.
Thank you so much, Carl. Coming to you a little bit early, let's delve into our national news first. Both the Eastern Cape and Western Cape have briefed Parliament's Health Committee on their strategies to roll out COVID-19 vaccine. Now, this as the country is preparing to receive the first batch of the AstraZeneca vaccine by the end of this month. The Eastern Cape says vaccination will start with health workers, followed by other frontline workers, those above 60 years old and above 18 years with comorbidities. Meanwhile, the Western Cape Health Authority authorities say they will embark on a mass social mobilization to build a vaccine confidence, as well as address medical, religious and cultural concerns in the same breath. Then 2 male nurses aged 40 and 45 have been arrested in Durban and charged after stealing a credit card from a businessman who was on his deathbed at St. Augustine's Hospital. Video footage showed one man using the card even after the businessman had died. It's alleged that the PIN code was saved on the deceased cell phone that was then recovered at a second-hand shop as well. His business partner, with whom he shares a joint business account, noticed the card was being used while his partner was hospitalized and even after he had passed away. On the international news front, new swarms of locusts in southern Ethiopia and northern Kenya are spreading further into the Eastern Africa region. The UN's Food and Agriculture Organization has warned. The organization said chances are swarms could spread further into Kenya and reach Tanzania, South Sudan and Uganda this month. Locust invasion poses a huge threat to food security in the region. Last year, the region saw billions of the insects destroying crops. The UN agency has urged countries affected to take the necessary efforts to survey, control, reduce migration and breeding of the insects. Turning to the US, Donald Trump last night became the first president in American history to be impeached twice or charged with crimes by Congress. The US House of Representatives has impeached Trump for incitement of insurrection over last week's Capitol riots. 10 Republicans sided with the Democrats to impeach the president by 232 to 197 votes. Trump will now face a trial in the Senate where, if convicted, he could face being barred ever holding an office again. Trump will leave office officially on Wednesday following his election defeat last November at the hands of Democrat Joe Biden. And now news of a jogger leaping into a frozen lake to rescue a dog. Some folks are loud after committing a heroic deed. Others, like Darcy Pell from Yorkshire in the UK, just go about their deed quietly and then move on, literally jog on. Darcy was jogging with a friend in bitter cold weather a few days ago when he noticed a dog battling to get out of a frozen lake. Unhesitatingly, he plunged into the frozen lake, smashed through the ice and rescued the stricken animal before jogging on. Darcy, who's 31 years old, said he was not a hero, but just saw a dog in need. And video footage shows his heroic act in full detail. Passerby Paula Town posted it online saying, "What a hero this complete stranger was." And she said the dog was trying to get onto the ice but kept slipping back into the sub-zero temperature water. Paula added, "Luckily, this brave guy came along, he plunged into the water, and the rest is on my video." Then his friend gave him his jacket, and they calmly continued on their jog. Hopefully that inspires you for the rest of your day. That's where we leave our news for now. Let's get back into our sporting headlines. Let's start with our midweek soccer action back home. Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates returned to winning ways in the Premier Soccer League last night. Amakosi beating Amazulu FC 1-0 down in Durban, and the Buccaneers recording a 3-0 victory over Chakuma Cha Mazivandila. That was at the Toyindu Stadium. In other results, SuperSport United continued their form, beating Bloem Celtic 2-1 to continue an impressive run in the PSL this season. A little further afield in the English Premier League last night, Manchester City extended their unbeaten run to 14 matches in all competitions with a hard-fought, in the end, 1-0 victory over Brighton. South African superstar and Brighton attacker Percy Tau impressed during his first appearance in the Premier League, giving Man City defender Alexander Zinchenko a very hard time. And other results from last night, Fulham came from one behind to draw 1-1 against Tottenham, and that was at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in their replay of that match. And then finally on to golfing news here in South Africa. The Sunshine Tour yesterday announced that they will be postponing their 2021 schedule by 1 month due to the increase in COVID-19 cases here in the country. Organisers made the decision in support of President Cyril Ramaphosa's call for everyone to work together to curb the spread of the coronavirus. The planned February start for the Sunshine Tour has now been moved to March this year. That's a wrap of your news and your sport for this morning. Let's get one last look at some of your beautiful sunrise vistas.
Sunrise pictures, they always make me happy, and we asked you to send through your sunrise photos, and you have most certainly pulled through. Thank you very much to you, Nick Lombard, who sent or captured a beautiful photo of Louriersfontein in the Northern Cape. Wilma Liederman submitted this oceanfront photo from Azefontein in the Western Cape, and Tokozo Theo Makatini sent us this blue skyline from Johannesburg, and last but not least, Roxy Mays shared this burnt skyline from Port Elizabeth. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Please do contribute to our weather report by sending through your sunrise photos, and you can post them on the Expresso Facebook page. On to some weather news. The Nelson Mandela Bay Metro yesterday urged residents to use water sparingly as dam levels in the metro continue to dip. The metro and surrounding areas are currently experiencing a devastating drought. In September 2020, the municipality reported that it had experienced day zero when taps were running dry and dam levels dipped below 19%. At present, the levels are at an average of 25.5%. Water is being drawn from the Garib Dam and fed into the metro at the moment. Residents have been urged to limit their water usage to 50 litres per day where possible. On to some of the temperatures in your country. Polokwane, you have a beautiful day ahead of you. Partly cloudy, 27 the high from a low of 18. Bombela, a low of 19 up to a high of 30. Do know there is a 56% chance of rain in your area. Pretoria, thunder showers, a 44% chance of those, 25 your high. Johannesburg, 16 to a high of 24 degrees today. Mahikeng, 19 to 28. Also some thunder showers expected, 47% chance of those. Klerksdorp, 20 to 28 degrees today. Kimberley, 20 to 29 are your temperatures. Bloem, good morning to you. 28 is your high from a low of 17 this morning. Richards Bay, you can expect 32 degrees, partly cloudy, 23 the low, and a 25% chance of precipitation in your area. Pietermaritzburg, 29 your high. That's from a low of 20 with 61% thunder showers. Durban, 30 the high there, 24 is the low this morning. Mthatha, a high of 29 this afternoon from 20 this morning. And East London, 23 to 26. Cradock, you are a high of 34 from a low of 20. Port Elizabeth, 22 to 26 today. George, good morning to you. 27, you're high from a low of 21. The Mother City hits 29 this afternoon from a low of 17. Worcester, Beierwoes, 39 degrees in your area. Please be safe and do hydrate. Sutherland, 14 to 31 with a 51% chance of thunder showers there. And Uppington, a high of 33 from a low of 22 this morning. That's a wrap of your weather this morning. Please continue to send those sunrise pictures. We always love seeing them on our Facebook page.
Wait, Sutherland is confusing. It's raining, it's hot, it's everything.
There's
Sutherland,
lightning even.
Are you okay out there? We're sending you so much love this morning. Even Worcester, shame, Worcester.
Now, from the rest of Mzansi to the rest of the world, I think it's so incredible, Jamie, that we get to literally broadcast our show to everyone all over the world, especially on our YouTube channel. And we've got some love coming through. And earlier we were chatting about Renan, but Renan sent us a message saying it's 1:07 here in Brazil in the morning, all right? So he watches our show and he says he watches the show to practice my English. I lived for 1 month in Cape Town, and I'm pretty sure I was a South African in my previous life. And I wish a good day to you all, Renan. Wishing you a good day, my friend. And thank you so much for reaching out to us from all the way across the globe. And thank you so much for letting us know how much you love the show.
I love that. We got Patrice watching from France. I'm going to do it in Patrice from France. He says, good morning, Cape Town. My favorite team of Expresso show, presenters and people behind the camera and the persons who answer to our messages. Morning, YouTubers. Good morning, my friend Sue. Patrice, I hope I did it.
Wow, you've taken me all the way to France.
To France. Oui, merci beaucoup.
Of course, guys, there's so much value. So keep coming through on our social media channels. We love chatting to you from not only Mzansi, from the entire world. And keep bringing in the love.
Oui, oui.
Patrice, amoureux.
you beautiful souls. You are live with Expresso for one more hour. We got you in our clutches and we're going to have a little bit of fun right now. Getting to know one of our guests, a very special young man, a little bit better this morning. We're back with our favorite social media duo, Joshua Rubin and Caroline Ndlovu. Of course, Caroline stepped out for a second so we can shift gears and take a look at some of Josh's amazing work as a documentary photographer. Josh, busy man, dude. Busy man.
I have been, yes.
We've seen the side to you, this fun and playful side with you and Caroline, but now taking it into your work of photography and videography skills. Tell us a bit more about that.
So I've been taking photos since I was 10 years old. My dad gave me a camera, and since then, that's all I've ever wanted to do. I never did one in school or anything else in my life, really, besides photography. I left school, studied photography, and I've kind of moved more into the documentary space. And I do a lot of different things, but documentary is definitely my favorite thing. And I've moved on to doing these kind of short interviews and letting people tell their stories through my platform.
And some powerful stories at that. We speak of Joshua Rubin, a 9-year-old with a soup kitchen, Brian and Renelle, mother and son, who were shot in a gang crossfire.
Yeah.
These are some pretty intense kind of moments of human narrative to delve into. How does that affect you as a documentarian? Does it inspire you? Does it remove your faith in humanity? How do you process when you're dealing with this kind of content?
So in terms of the Renelle and Brian story, I saw that through social media, and it was such a powerful story. And I've been working a lot in the Cape Flats recently, and this is something that you see in the Cape Flats quite a lot. And that didn't happen in the Cape Flats, but it's the same kind of story. And it's hard to tell these stories, and I've never had any sort of training in this kind of work. I generally just wander into these areas and see how it goes. And it's what I love to do. It's definitely hard work to do, but just giving someone a platform like the one I've built over the last few years to tell their story and hopefully better their lives through my platform, that makes it worth it.
Where do you hope to see this go? What message do you maybe want to send out to people with you telling the story and showing other people's stories?
So, I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit lost at the moment. I'm feeling a little bit all over the place. Last year was a crazy year for me. I was out.
You're not alone, right?
I know. I'm the only one. Yeah. So last year was crazy. I was out throughout the whole of lockdown documenting it. And it was hard. I'm not going to lie. And I went through a lot along with everyone else. And I've started this year feeling a bit lost, not knowing exactly where to go. And it was really nice to be invited here. But I'm not too sure where to go, to be honest. I would love to keep doing my documentary work, but I think I need to make a change in some sort of way. I need to kind of take some time and do stuff that I love doing in other ways as well. Because doing this work just alone and not doing anything else can get very intense and can get someone down.
It's okay. It's sometimes okay to feel lost in your journey because you're not at the destination. You are exactly that part of the journey. So sometimes you have to be lost to find out, who you are and what the next step is.
No, completely, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. I have no doubt that maybe this has kick-started a new process that will hopefully reveal the next step. But we'll give you a few more weeks of lockdown to just think about it.
Thank you.
So don't worry. We were all on that same note. I think so much of what was superfluous in the world has just been torn away now, and all of us have been forced to kind of hold up a mirror and see where we are. You're a fantastic young man doing amazing things, sending an amazing message out into the world. So we are so happy to have been just a little part of that journey.
Thank you very much.
It's so cool to see where you are now after having first connected with you years ago. It's crazy
I actually used to take photos behind the scenes on Expresso, so it's really cool to be on. I've been here before, but it's really cool to be on this side of the camera again, especially with Caroline.
And the two of you are just magical, lovely, even if you do get on each other's nerves. So good to have you back again. All the best for the new year.
Thank you very much, and you too.
So this is the time where we need to celebrate one photographer, of course, like Joshua, but we have to go to another. And sometimes it's the little things that truly take our breath away.
Yeah, truly. Now, I think wildlife photographer Warren Dix would certainly agree. And what with the exquisite photos of taking the smallest critters. Let's check it out.
Sometimes the most beautiful and interesting creatures are the smallest ones, and it takes a sharp eye to capture them. Today I am meeting with wildlife photographer Warren Keith Dick, who has a knack and interest of taking photos of the most bizarre looking creepy crawlies and creatures that can be found around Durban. Let's see which critters he'll be photographing today. Warren, how did you get into wildlife photography?
Right from a small boy, I was always interested in little creepy crawlies. I'd go and find caterpillars in the garden and raise them up to see what they would become. And I've always had a passion for photography, but never really been able to afford my own camera. Until in 2010, my dad bought me my first digital SLR camera. And before I went and did weddings and other functions, my dad told me I must learn my camera back to front. So what else better to learn on than the little creepy crawlies that I kept and found in the garden?
You particularly take pictures of small creatures and insects. Is there a reason behind that? Why don't you want to go bigger?
It's the small creatures that are usually the most misunderstood and feared, like for example snakes and spiders. Most people have fears of them, and my passion is to get people over those very often irrational fears of the creepy crawlies and show them, you know, they're not all that bad.
Well, I'm joining you today to see if we can photo some creepy crawlies, and I'm really excited to see your process.
Oh, cool. I look forward to showing you some awesome creepy crawlies. This is a spiny flower mantis nymph. They're really incredible looking creatures, aren't they?
Wow, it looks like it's looking at me.
Yeah, they have excellent eyesight. They can spot you from quite far away and keep a good eye on you.
How long is their lifespan?
Their lifespan is approximately about a year. They stay in this nymph form for about 10 months. I start finding them in the reserve from around about January, February, when they actually look like little ants. They're little pitch black with little white spots. You can watch them grow up until around about now in August, September. They start getting their wings as adults and they fly off. Their mates lay their eggs, and unfortunately that's it for their season. And I wait till next year for the new season to come out. I often find a lot of my creepy crawlies under rocks.
Okay, I would help you, Warren, but I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Rather don't lift rocks if you don't know exactly what you could be finding under the rocks. Oh wow, here's a whip spider.
A whip spider?
Yeah.
Is it not poisonous?
No, these things are completely harmless, even though they look absolutely terrifying and freak a lot of people out.
They have two little claws. Are those to pinch us?
No, these claws are mostly used for hunting, for catching their prey, which they eat.
Warren, we've been walking for quite some time now. Is it safe to say that being a wildlife photographer takes a lot of patience?
Yes, it takes a lot of patience. Sometimes it even takes me months to get that one good picture of a creature that I'm looking for.
What is the longest period you've had to wait for that one picture, and of which creature?
Sometimes longer than a month I've had to wait to get that one shot of a particular species of butterfly to return to my garden.
And what's your favorite creature of all time?
My favorite species of insects of all time would have to be the praying mantises, in particular the spiny flower mantis with their incredible flower-like camouflage.
They really are beautiful creatures. I can say that for myself. Walking with Warren, he never leaves a stone unturned, hey?
No, I try and flip all of them to see what amazing creatures I can find.
That's a scorpion.
Yes, it is. It's actually a harmless species of scorpion. It's found in the forests around Durban.
What's the most interesting thing about scorpions?
The fact that all scorpions glow in the dark under UV light. So if you think you have scorpions in your yard, go outside at night with a UV light and shine around and you'll be able to easily see them.
Warren, today has been truly awesome, just informative and fun to say the least. Thank you so much for teaching me about all the little creepy crawlies that can be found here in Durban.
Thank you for joining me at the Kenneth Steinbank Nature Reserve, and I hope you've been able to overcome some of your fears of creepy crawlies.
Most definitely, Warren. I've also developed a very deep appreciation of nature and all its creatures. Truly, in South Africa, we are blessed to have a beautiful blend of fauna and flora.
You know what I enjoy? I enjoy how Kutle is so calm around that last insect there. That thing with the Did you see
the
it?
one that gave me the grill?
Yes. Actually, Raul's sitting here thinking, what is that? It's on TV. If it jumped out at you, it's fun, but I think it's so important for us to love and appreciate all of these things in nature, especially the smaller things as well.
Yeah, man, we really, truly are blessed. I mean, look around you, look high, look low, look small, look big. There's beauty to be appreciative of.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Time is shorter than we presumed. It appears the scientists have proven that there is actually slightly less time to our days than previously anticipated. So science engagement astronomer from the observatory, Dr. Daniel Kahnemer, our regular, now joins us to give us the lowdown. Dr. Dan, what is going on? Scientists have discovered that time is passing faster now than it has at any other point in the last 50 years. What is the reason for this? Are we all just spinning out of control? What's going on?
So time's not actually moving faster. Our days are slightly shorter. So this year we had the sort of 25 of the shortest days in the last 50 years. And that means that the Earth was spinning slightly quicker than it normally does. So generally what the Earth does is it spins slightly slower than 24 hours. And that means that these sort of milliseconds add up over a year and a half. And every now and again, we have to add a leap second. So, we have to add an extra second to our clocks so that we're back in line with the Earth's rotation. But what happened last year, in addition to all the other things that happened last year, was that the Earth started moving slightly quicker on various days, about 50 of these days.
I just think because it was 2020, they were trying to just speed things up and get through it a little bit quicker if we could. This is obviously causing quite a stir within scientists who are debating officially taking off a portion of time or then adding that, as you said, that negative leap second to account for the change in the Earth's speeds. Can you tell us a bit more about why there is such a raging debate?
This is something which is probably not important to the man on the street, but to scientists it makes a big difference. For computing, your computers keep very accurate time and they need it in order for everything to be working, banking. There was the whole Y2K scare, and every now and again when we add a leap second, it's, for the computers, it's like you're walking up a set of stairs and you get to the top of the stairs. You think there's one more step, but there isn't, and you kind of stumble. And that's what it's like for the computers, and they all freak out. And so that's why adding these things is a little bit controversial. But we do need to somehow keep our time in check with the Earth's rotation. Otherwise, in a couple of thousand years, the morning will be in the afternoon and vice versa.
Hey, for a breakfast show, I could do with that, getting up at maybe 2 in the afternoon. I'm down for that. Look, your analogies have been really good this morning, so I hope you got another one now. On average, our days are shorter by that 0.5 milliseconds. Is this going to be the new norm? Is this something that will adjust over the next 50 years? How do we kind of foresee this working out moving forward?
Yeah, it's kind of impossible to predict. Like, as I said, the Earth is rotating and it has these variations depending on what's going on. The moon, the tides, whatever's happening in the core, even big volcanoes and earthquakes sort of cause little glitches in the Earth's rotation. So those things are impossible to predict. So we don't really know what's going to happen. But the way we can sort of deal with these things in the future is whether we continue to add and subtract leap seconds here and there, or whether we slightly adjust the clock by that 0.5 milliseconds every now and again, and nobody really notices. And you know, it's a matter of how we sort of handle these small changes. It makes a difference for banking or for, you know, astronomy, for scientists, makes a difference.
So this basically is going to be a test as to see how sneaky we really are as a species. So world timekeepers use very special equipment known as atomic clocks to measure time. Can you tell us how this device works and what they use?
Yeah, so there's a good analogy for this. Basically, it's a pendulum. So if you can think of a pendulum, or in your watch, there's, you know, these oscillations. In a digital clock, it uses the oscillations from the power, you know, in the power lines. And basically, it's just a pendulum keeping time, tick tock, tick tock. For an atomic clock, what you're doing is you're looking at an atom. We mostly use cesium atoms, and we know very, very accurately the frequency of how that atom vibrates. So, you know, if this thing is vibrating, and it'll be at nanoseconds, but if it vibrates, for example, 7,000 times a second, then we can count those 7,000 times and say there was another second. And because it's so accurate, that frequency, it's based on, like, you know, real atomic physics. It doesn't vary very much at all, whereas, you know, the power cables or your watch or anything else loses time, gains time. Those things aren't very accurate, and that's why we use atomic clocks.
Okay, we know that using power in this country is probably not the best way to go as well. Buddy, I'm no less confused than I was at the beginning, but I'm a lot more excited about science this year because you've given us something else to think about. Thank you so much for your time this morning. We really do appreciate it. Can't wait to hear what scientists decide. Should we subtract time or should we add that negative second? How will we deal with this moving forward? And one thing I will say, though, is time is getting shorter, so make the most of it.
Well, you know what? If time is going a bit faster these days, we're going to have less time to actually make food, and we should have less time to spend in the kitchen. That's why you need some quick recipes, and this is why I'm here with you today with something very special. We bring you the Clover Classic Tandoori Roti Wraps that are filled with tantalizing aromas, and dare we say it might be better than the takeout. I have to say that, actually. It's made just in a few minutes, and it is as seen on TV. We do have Angie, who is the extraordinaire. She knows all about quick recipes. You should see Angie make 2-minute noodles. She makes it in a minute and a half, very fast. Angie, I'm excited about this recipe because I love recipes that are quick, and I also love it when there's a nutrition factor as well.
Absolutely, healthy as well.
Can I help?
100%. You're going to make the little dressing that we've got, but you can make that in a second. What we've got the pan on. I'm just going to turn it up a little bit because we want the skillet to be nice and hot.
Yes.
Right, so we're going to take our chicken breast. We've got chicken breast, and what I like to do is just cut it in half, so sort of butterfly it. Just want to make it a little thinner, then it can cook faster. Because otherwise you sort of have that cooked on the outside, raw on the inside situation, which we don't need.
No, I don't like that. Sometimes I'll take some cling wrap and I'll just sort of do the schnitzel thing. We just bang it out.
Yes, as well. That's a good idea too. So what we've got is some ready-made tandoori spice.
Nice.
You can make your own if you want to, but the ready-made is the quick way. Salt and pepper always, and you're going to need that as well.
Yes, I'm excited for my moment where I can do the dressing.
Your special moment, your 15 minutes of fame.
Thank you.
And then we're going to add our dairy. So that's about a cup in here, and then
the dairy's beautiful. I mean, the Clover Classic range caters for every kind of consumer with Clover Classic spread. They've got mayo, they've got dairy snacks, they've got custard. I mean, it's very, very versatile. I've seen the entire product range, and if you want to use it, you know, feel free. You can even do a little bit of those Clover Classic brownie cupcakes too. So, I mean, it's nice that they have such variety. I would drink it from here, but I can't because
but you can't.
There's COVID, so I'm not going to do that right now. So with regard to the skillet that you're using over there, can somebody, if they don't have one of those fancy skillet pans, can you just use a normal pan?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm assuming you're using it because of that, those little burn
You get the little ridges, which is what we're after.
Okay, I got you.
So obviously we're not going to be cooking this in a tandoori oven, but we want to try and replicate the whole thing.
Oh, there we go.
So we marinate this. You can marinate this for a little bit longer than I am.
All right.
And then as soon as your pan is nice and hot, you're just going to, there we go. get that sizzle.
Yes.
But you want a heavy base pan, so don't try and use one of those aluminium things, because that's not going to work.
A cast iron could probably work as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
something
okay.
cast iron. I'm going to have to do this.
No, thank you. Well, this is, see, I feel like that's a very good point. You know, the kitchen hygiene is part of the cooking process.
There we go.
Right,
there we go. And what you can do is you just want to get your colour. It's going to take a little while.
That's no problem. I would like to ask you, with regard to a skillet pan, I find they get kind of sticky very fast. Any hacks to make it a bit more slick?
Just oil it.
Oil it properly?
Oil it, yeah.
All right, good.
And that's it. And you don't really need to wash. I know it sounds bad. You don't need to wash them. Just wipe them.
It's seasoned, that's why. Yes.
And then, okay, this...
It's smelling phenomenal. I mean, I wish... This is the great thing about this. The TV chefs, I don't know how they make things smell.
I know.
You would never be able to smell this, but at the same time, I can describe it to you. It is a beautiful Clover Classic dairy nuance with a bit of tandoori roti.
There we go.
That's what it smells like.
I like that.
I made it.
That's a great description.
Yeah, thank you. I try my best. I do indeed.
Okay, so the rule is when this no longer sticks, you can turn it over.
All right.
This could take a little while.
That's fine.
But we do have some ready-made, luckily for us. And what I also like to do is get your colour on both sides, and then you can just pop that into the oven to finish it off cooking, so that you don't burn it, because you don't want to burn it on the outside and then.
You know, I get very wary about the oven because you're thinking, oh, am I going to overcook this? What am I going to do?
So really, and just sort of press it as soon as you want juicy, but not dried out.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
for
Because
sure.
chicken biltong is not good in our
no,
veggie wraps.
only dogs like chicken biltong. My dogs love chicken biltong. Right, and then we've got our ready cooked chicken, and then you can just make a wrap out of it. So this is like a nice healthy lunch snack.
Nice.
Really. Put whatever you want on it. Oh, you have to make the dressing.
Yes, please. Okay.
Right.
A quick one. Let's go.
Dairy.
Dairy. Go for it. So dairy's in there.
Okay, and then you're going to add some of that lemon juice.
Okay, lemon juice going in.
Yes.
Because a bit of sourness to balance.
Yeah.
Is this coriander?
That's coriander Graham's favourite. So add
That's
all
in
of
there
it.
as well. And then, let me guess, I'm only cumin.
Cumin.
Oh, yeah. That's in there too. All
And
right.
then mix, mix, mix.
Gonna do a nice mix over here.
Little
Gonna-
salt and pepper.
Seasoning, very important, especially on
Always.
this process here.
Always.
I just love how salt and pepper. I just love it.
It just brings everything together.
Yes, indeed. I like to mix quite vigorously.
Yeah, what you
know what I
should.
mean? Because it actually, when you have guests over, it makes you look like you know what you're doing.
Absolutely. It's
That's
a party trick. There we go. Okay, perfect. So
You're
there's
welcome.
our dressing. Thank you very much for
No,
that.
you're most welcome.
So we're going to put, what I like to do is just heat the roti up, because otherwise it's a little bit hard, but we don't have space on the skillet, so we'll just wing
It's
it.
fine. The magic of TV will make
There
it
we
look
go.
soft. That's the thing.
And
And,
then-
also, can you use a tortilla for this as
Definitely.
well?
Or any wrap, whatever you've got.
Okay, great
Make
stuff.
your own if you want to.
Nice.
So for that sort of Indian flavour situation, I'm going to leave the lettuce out.
Okay.
I would rather put maybe some more coriander, because I love coriander. And then some red onion is great. That's very sort of traditional flavours, and some cucumber.
It's going to look beautiful. And I think that if you want to replicate this at home, I'm sure you want to, just go to our website, expressoshow.com, and then, you know, make it yourself. Try some twists in it. I'm sure you can make it a bit more spicy if you want to as well.
Definitely add more of that spice, or add some more cayenne pepper to really
Great.
spice it up. Okay, and then we just lots of. I always put too much filling in, and then it doesn't want to.
Well, you know what? This is the great thing, is that too much filling is good. If you just stepped in and you saw this deliciousness and you really want to make it yourself, I want you to take a look at this recap and then try it at home sometime this weekend.
Okay, so we're going to fold it. Very, very difficult. And then fold it over again, and there's your wrap. That's a wrap.
That is a wrap. It's a wrap. And now there's a recap. Look at that.
Made with love by Clover.
So, we've had classic fashion from Cindy. classic cars. Thanks, Chad. And we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic.
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're still locked in, of course, at your Feel Good Breakfast show right here on SABC3. And we've spent some time going into the wild this morning. And here's another exquisite story. We're talking about giant squids. Yes, you heard correctly. The name may cause the imagination to think of fantastical shipwrecking monsters, but giant squids do in fact exist, and albeit not as harmful. And one actually rocked up on our shores not too long ago. And to tell us more about these fascinating creatures is the CEO of Two Oceans Aquarium Education Foundation, Marika Musan. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm really well, and it's lovely to join you once again.
It's always good chatting to you. I know when I chat to you, I'm going to discover something new, and Nature Boy is just like, yes, what is it? So, giant squids, what? Please tell me about them. I've got so many questions. Firstly, what is their actual name? Is their scientific name? Where do they like swim around so I know to maybe stay away from it? And also, how big do they get?
So, Ron, firstly, they are the largest snails ever to exist. So I quite like hearing that, but just put them in perspective.
Did you say snail?
But they're from the class... Sorry?
Did you just say snail?
So they're from the class Cephalopoda, which really means a big head and a foot. So same as an octopus or the smallest squid, or what we better know as calamari. So they were scientifically described in about 1857, and the scientific name is super cool because it's called Architeuthis dux. Now, archi means in Latin most important, and teuthis is the Greek name for squid, and then dux, as we all know, is the Latin word for leader. So if you translate that, it really is the most important squid leader, this giant squid. So the name giant squid's perfect. It's just a very big squid. They're found all over the world at great depth. So their vertical distribution is mainly from about 300 meters to 1,000 meters deep. So that's a kilometer under the ocean. And they're not so fond of tropical waters, so warm water, or the polar regions. But what's quite exciting is that there's a colossal squid, which is very similar. It's heavier, but not as long, that you find off Antarctica. So there are squid there. I'm hoping I might go and see one, actually. So these squid get really long. They've got this mantle, which is the body, and then 8 very long arms with suckers and 2 tentacles. So the overall length varies, from the little ones from about 3 meters all the way to 13 meters, with an average between 10 and 12 meters. So they're quite a sight when they wash up. But what is also very impressive, of course, are these cup-like suckers on these long arms. And those suckers have got tiny little teeth. So it's been observed on sperm whales where these giant squid get a hold of them, it leaves quite nasty scars. So it's definitely not something to mess with. Another interesting fact is they actually have 3 hearts. So 2 of these hearts will pump blood to the gills, and the other heart will pump it throughout the body. They've got really big brains, so very sort of a complex neurological system, so they're quite clever. They can weigh up to 400 kilos, so they're bulky, and they've got the biggest eyes of any animals. And it's a diameter of about 27 centimeters. So I like putting it in perspective of like a school ruler, which is, I mean, it's bigger than my head, which is quite amazing. And then also a very big beak with little radula, which is like a tongue with little teeth. So it's definitely something not to mess with. But and I love the mythical stories that we can get to shortly, but incredible creatures.
Wow, Marika, and I must just say, when you were chatting to me now and I saw your cat's tail coming to the screen, I thought there was a squid coming for us there. I was like about to say, watch out. But listen, I mean, I've got to ask, why are they so big? And is it because they're eating something special or different? Or should we be afraid of them at all?
No, so there's a sort of a reason for their size, because many of these really deep sea animals get really big compared to their shallow water counterparts. So it's like giant squid, a lot of the invertebrates. I mean, you can think of those giant spider crabs as well. And it really could be because of the cold water environment they're in. There's quite a scarcity of food, so their metabolism adjusts to the environment, so it slows down, but they can convert food a lot better. And then, of course, there are not that many predators down there, so they don't necessarily have to hide. And so they can get a lot bigger. But there's a lot of research still lacking, so it's not that clear, but what's exciting is that there's so much more still to learn about the ocean, and especially the deep ocean environment. So what they eat is, they don't eat humans, that's not on the menu. They actually have, sorry, there's a tentacle in the way here. They actually have quite a small menu of mainly deep sea fish and other squid. And they can also be cannibalistic. So they do fight with each other. They do eat each other. Every now and again, it's been observed in their stomach contents of those that wash up. And then, of course, they do have a main predator, which is the sperm whale. So they do get eaten by sperm whale. The smaller ones get eaten by some of the shark species. But interesting stories in the 1960s, one of the whaling vessels actually spotted a sperm whale that had a giant squid attached to it. So this giant squid was strangling the sperm whale, and the whale actually died, but before it died from strangulation, it managed to bite off the head of this giant squid. So both of these animals end up, suffering and dying. So yes, they're forever on the lookout for sperm whales to stay out of their way. But yeah, not a big diet, and we're certainly not on the menu there.
Oh, well, Marika, it sounds like I could honestly just sit with you and hear these stories for days and days. It sounds like something out of a novel or a movie, but it is in fact true. And I just want to say thank you again for sharing the beauty of the ocean, the unexplored world that we still live in. And it's so interesting just to get educated and see all the amazingness that is in this water. So thank you so much for your time this morning.
Always a pleasure.
Look, well, these enormous creatures seem to like our waters, so I think we can in fact count them as part of our national heritage, I'd say. And Marika Masan, we can't say thank you once again for sharing your knowledge and your time with us this morning.
Now, from the mysteries of the deep, the way deep, we come back onto terra firma. Kutli is being a good sport today. She's already confronted her fears when it comes to creepy crawlies. Now, this is going to be quite a feat as she embraces the snake. She's going to meet snake catcher Nick Evans. Take a look.
Home to many different snakes in our country, and encounters between humans and snakes happen quite often in these parts. But do not worry, because there is someone to call. Nick Evans is a snake rescuer who is called to retrieve snakes from different households. I'm talking about black mambas, green mambas, Mozambique spitting cobra, you name it. He's going to be teaching me about the different snakes that can be found in Durban. So let's go meet him. Hello. Thank you so much for inviting me. I can't say that I am excited. I'm really nervous because I have a fear for snakes. Snake rescuer is not such a popular title here in South Africa. Where did your love for snakes come from?
When I was a kid, I used to watch Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, and his passion really inspired me to work with these misunderstood animals.
I see you holding one now. What are the most common snakes that are expected to be found in Durban?
So we've got a number of species in Durban, which I think we're lucky to have. We've got black mambas, Mozambique spitting cobras, but this is by far the most common, the spotted bush snake. So it gets about 1 meter in length. It's very quick, very fast, and it's completely harmless. I get calls every day about them, green mamba, because it's green. But they're not green mambas. Green mambas are actually quite elusive. These guys are everywhere. They're always found around homes because there's geckos. So they come to homes to look for geckos, and there's lots of nice hiding places for them.
So I believe that you've brought an assortment of other snakes for me to learn about today.
I have, yes.
I'm ready to see them. Can you please lead the way?
Okay, sure.
Nick, we have to start with the least dangerous snake. Which one do you have for us?
First one's a really nice one to start with. It is a harmless brown house snake. A very common snake in Durban and actually throughout most of the country. Well, this is actually a really good snake to have around the house, maybe not under your bed or like in the bathroom, but outside, because these snakes eat the rats. So they feed on rats, they're constrictors, so they're not venomous. So when they bite their prey, they wrap their body around and squeeze. So they're completely harmless to people and pets.
We're going to take it to the next level now, Nick. Which one do you have next for us?
Okay, so the next one is it is venomous, but it's not highly venomous, so we're going slowly but surely.
I'm going to take a step back for that one.
It's all right, don't worry. Okay, I actually rescued this snake in someone's garden the other day. This is a night adder, a rhombic night adder. Extremely common in Durban. It's the most common venomous snake that I catch. Okay, and they are found throughout the country as well. People often mistaken them for a puff adder because they look a little similar, I guess. And when they're angry, they will hiss and puff.
Nick, you need to close that because she looks like a cheeky one.
It is a cheeky one.
But how often do you get called for like house snakes? Or even this one?
I get calls every day. Obviously in summer I get a lot more busy, but in winter it can still be busy at times. All depends on the weather.
5 years doing this, I'm pretty sure you have some dramatic stories.
I've had so many dramatic calls, I guess, nerve-wracking rescues. It usually involves mambas in ceilings, or mambas in trees, or mambas in messy situations.
Mambas in a bucket. Look at it's looking at me. It's looking at me.
Nah, this is fine. Don't worry.
It's fine. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna take a step back for safety's sake while you take it out. Are you never scared to encounter these snakes in people's homes?
Some situations I'm a little scared, but you've got to treat these snakes with a lot of respect and just be very careful, very focused, and you should be okay.
All right. Okay, how old is this one? How long do they grow?
This black mamba is just a few years old. It's still quite young. It's nowhere near proper adult size. We get calls for 2.5 meter long mambas. Wow. Recently I had a 3 meter mamba, and they get a lot thicker than this too.
What are the misconceptions about black mambas?
Well, the black mamba, for instance, is a very misunderstood animal. People believe this snake will chase you, charge at you, attack you. It won't do that. They are very shy snakes, very nervous. They will always try to get away from you. They're not going to raise up and look you in the eyes and then attack. They just want to be left alone. So if you leave them alone, they leave you alone. That's the best thing with snakes. Snakes are not out to get us. They just want us to leave them alone.
Thank you so much, Nick. It has been interesting and educational to learn about these different snakes. That was fun and very informative. I've learned so much about these creatures that are perceived to be very vicious and dangerous. There's actually more to them, like the night adder, who was very sassy.
Well done, Kutle, and thank you so much, Tanika, opening a window into the wonderful world of snakes. We're back in the kitchen in just a moment. Don't stray too far.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It's still your feel good. Of course, you locked in to the Expresso show where all the magic is going down. Now, we spent the morning with internet sensation Joshua Rubin and Caroline Ndlovu, who broke the internet when Josh obviously decided to take Caroline for her driving lesson, which we guys absolutely loved so much earlier. And the internet went crazy, right? So a little bit told me that you guys like making some pap at home, and I believe, Josh, that's actually your favorite food as well. So we thought to create that dish in studio with a bit of a twist, and it's called a pap pizza. So joining us for this expertise is Chef Clem, who will show us how it's done, and he's going to put you guys through your paces. Chef Clem over there on the other side.
Do you know, I poured myself a glass of water. I think I'm going to chill for this one. Because, so you've been getting lessons on making pap, right?
Well, I'm from Zimbabwe originally, so it's like what I grew up eating.
Okay, cool. So it's no stranger. So I decided I'm going to ask you to make the pap. Then, Caroline, you're going to make the base of all our saucy element for our pizza. I've got a base done for you. And it's not because I didn't believe that you'd get it done. Okay, I have faith in you. So I'm going to ask you to kick it off. So you told me earlier, you actually learned a different method of making pap.
So it's like, you know when you cook in someone else's kitchen, things always go like a bit crazy?
Not today, okay, but yeah.
We're going to try. So Caroline taught me that you put a bit in.
Okay, a bit of water into your...
We're going to pour it in here.
No, how did Caroline teach you?
So
I want to know about...
we make like a little bit of a paste.
Okay.
And then we kind of gradually add it in.
Okay.
But I'm just going to kind of start adding it into this and we'll see how it goes.
And if it goes wrong, it's my fault because I told you to do that.
Yeah.
But Caroline, I do like your method as well because that stops it from forming extra lumps.
It's not clumpy then,
Look at Caroline. Caroline's like...
It's fine. Josh, I've got to ask you, man, is this something that you and Caroline have made before? Yes?
Pap, yeah.
Okay.
Many times.
Because Clem's putting on pressure here, like it's like the first time. I mean,
it's really looking clumpy already.
You know what? That rule number one of TV, when things go wrong, you just smile and you just change the subject. How's that weather in Sutherland, eh? Okay, so Caroline, you're going to jump onto the sauce for our pizza, which is... I really like this recipe. This is Sibam Tungana's recipe, and she uses one of my favorite Woolies products, which has got the sun-dried tomatoes and that feta dip, and then the pesto at the bottom. But just for the sauce of the pizza, we're going to mix the sun-dried tomatoes and the feta element. We're going to make it a little sweeter by adding some sweet chili sauce. I think it's kind of nice to have especially because the chorizo we're using has natural sweetness, but it's a little salty, a little savory. Therefore, the sweet chili gives it a nice balance. So I'm really liking this recipe. And to make sure, because Josh is a growing man, we're adding some veggies, some tender stem broccoli, which I know is a bit different to having on a pizza. But again, we've made the pizza our own anyway, so let's just go crazy with it. Are you winning, Caroline? You see, Caroline knows. Just like the lid didn't want to come off. Just take it off. She knows what's up. Okay, let's just for the sake of it, let's just come back to the pap. Again, this is not you, this is me.
Yeah,
okay, this is me.
Yeah, it's looking not so good.
Let's just see what it looks like at the end. I love this. I love this. In 2021, we just roll with it.
So what's wrong with a bit of clumps in your
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, Caroline, tell the truth.
What do I do? More.
Add more.
Add more.
Look at I love the love
Some reason
in the kitchen. Okay, So what I've done is I made a base earlier, and then as soon as it gets like spreadable, which I think is a good term for it, I've just spread it over a baking tray and lined it with some baking paper, and that's going to be the base of our pizza. Another thing I love doing is when you get to this texture here, you cut it into squares and you deep fry it. It is not the healthiest thing, but the most delicious thing ever. Oh my goodness. Oh yes, we spoke about this also. When pop reaches this stage.
It just burned me.
Did it burn you?
It just burned me.
So, like, I believe the best boxers in the world, their mothers taught them to make pop, because when the pop starts spitting, you'll see how fast their reflexes are, and they dodge those shots. Did it get you, Josh?
It got me a few
Are you
times.
okay? I've got a first aid kit.
I'm okay.
Are you okay? But did I turn the heat down for you?
I did it already.
Oh, okay, good. You're winning.
I'm winning.
So once it gets nice and thick like this, Caroline, are we almost there?
I think we need to get a sieve here.
With a sieve, you want to strain out the lumps. Caroline, where do you stand on adding butter to your pop while it's busy cooking? Is it a yes or it's a no? What do you think?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Put a
Is
little
you
bit.
okay with it? Okay, go on, add a little bit. For me, I like doing that because it adds a bit of richness to your pop and a little bit of extra salt. And I did add salt to your water, Josh, which is very important. Always add salt to your water.
Add a
when
little
you
bit
cook
more
pop.
salt, though.
Add a little bit extra, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
With finesse.
With finesse.
Josh, I'm actually really impressed, eh?
Not bad, eh?
No, I'm not. I'm really impressed.
It's still quite clumpy, but
I'm just
we're getting there.
stepping back. Okay, so
You see this?
I'm so Caroline, you can spread your sauce over the base of your pizza. You see, problem bring a chef, you want to jump in. But no, I've got my glass of water.
I'm seeing you there, Clem. I've got to say, guys, while you guys are at it and making this a delicious meal, the rest of Mzansi is coming through with absolute love, and they shared some comments which I want to read to you all. And this one is from Fatima Peters, who says, guys, you are bringing back so many awesome memories. I can still remember the video went viral and I was shouting on my side and laughing. And this morning, everything played back and it was so awesome. And she still says, with all the best, may all your wishes come true. And with that young man by your side, Caroline, a true inspiration for everybody. Now, the parents can be proud of you all, and you've raised a good, handsome young man too. And that's from Fatima Peters coming through with love.
Thank you very much.
Too. Everyone is just going crazy for you guys. We're loving you on the show. Mona Lisa says this is absolutely amazing, and she wishes all the best to you, Caroline and Joshua. And then Angal Ledwaba says it's an absolutely wonderful story. Thank you guys so much. So Mzansi's loving you. The last thing that Mzansi needs to love is this food. So don't mess it up, guys.
No.
I'm going to be the judge.
No.
We can add the toppings. You can go for the toppings. You can add, Josh, you can maybe jump in as well. You can add some of those toppings to the pizza. I've got some Parmesan, but I want to roast off the veggies first, and then just before it comes out, similar to our chicken, Raul.
Yes.
Don't add your Parmesan in the beginning. So
Otherwise
when it's
gonna
almost
burn,
done,
right?
yeah, it's going to burn. When it's almost done, a bit of Parmesan goes over the top,
You want to add
and you're good to go. And again,
Just
the
throw
pop
it
is
on.
cooked,
I know.
the veggies, the broccoli's cooked, chorizo's cooked, so it doesn't need to take that long in the oven.
Josh, I've got to ask you a question now. Does it feel like you're sinking, or do you feel like you're about to swim, or you're floating? How's it going right now?
I think it's going okay. I'm glad that it's already been prepared as well, so you don't have to take a look at what's going on in here. But I think it went okay. The lumps are starting to kind of.
Yeah, this is good. I'm not bad. This is good.
The reason I'm asking about the sink or swim because I actually was looking up at your Instas and saw a crazy video of you building a raft to try and float, not sink, but float all the way through to Robben Island. What on earth, man? How crazy!
So during lockdown, I mean, like obviously my family wasn't working. We were getting a bit bored, and me and my dad loved doing kind of adventurous things, crazy things, and he's like extremely fit, so I thought he would be the right person to take with me because I'm not fit at all. And we did like a 3-week project where we built a raft out of pipe. So it was basically plumbing pipe, tuffy chairs, like those like funny plastic chairs, and metal framing, and a lot of glue. And we paddled to Robben Island.
Did you make it?
We made it, yeah.
Oh, wow, man.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we made
it looks
it.
like you've actually, to be honest, made one incredible pop pizza as well, guys.
Not
so
bad,
Caroline, Josh, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much for having
Thank you
us.
for feeding us. Not only entertainment, but some good food as well. And just to kick it off, of course, we've got some more music to round the show up, of course. Stay tuned, because Carl's going to bring us something special.
So from papizza to something a little digestive. It's called Another Perspective that you can get from the National Arts Festival website, nationalartsfestival.co.za. Blake Hallaby has been incredible this entire morning. He's got another song for you to take us out. This is Forward.
absolute legend. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Have an amazing day. Adios, muchachos. Mwah.
Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.